back to us full time, and then they're better players for it. So it actually makes your recruiting a lot easier when you've got blokes coming back to you instead of having to find them.
Good afternoon, Brendan. Great to have a chat to you, and all the best for 2023. What has the pre-season brought you down to Blackburn? Obviously, there's some new players into the club over the off-season. You say goodbye to a few others, but really gives a few others a real big opportunity going into a new footy season. Some of the young and developing players that are probably just waiting for that opportunity.
Yeah, look, you win a development flag and you generally get a bit of turnover because blokes have got what they wanted, and then they've obviously going to play senior footy at a lower division. We've lost about 6 or 7, I think, which it's no issue with us. It's probably a good thing because our 19s have been winning flags, so we've got to give them opportunity at some point. And the guys that are running around out there now, I think they'll be an average age of about 21. So, and they're quitting themselves quite well against the best Balwyn reserves team in 50 years, I read the other day, apparently. So, we need those guys pushing up and developing, and then they're the next crop of senior players in the next 2 or 3 years.
And there's probably a few players out there that played in that reserves flag last year that probably played a handful of games, were in and out of the side at various times last year, but probably haven't made the list. These are the sort of things that you have to do to be that consistent player to play senior footy.
We do exit interviews at the end of the season, so our players are under no illusions of what they've got to do to get to senior footy. And it's not an overnight fix for some of them. Some of it's little stuff that it's really habitual that's been happening since juniors. So we constant feedback. We've got a really good coaching group. Some blokes will get there, they work hard, and then others, just don't put the work in and they end up still staying at development level. But we try and give everyone equal opportunity to play senior footy, because if we've got those blokes pushing up and putting pressure on the senior group, it makes the senior group better. And it was pretty much my comment the other night on Wednesday training, like the 22 that take the field for the seniors today have their spots, so it's theirs to lose. Everyone else is trying to get them.
A couple of things. I want to talk about some of the new inclusions. Sam Heaton, who's come to the football club, crossed over from Doo to Stars, been really impressive in practice matches to date so far, and he'll really give your defence a little bit extra, especially as a rebounding defender.
He might go either end.
Either end?
Yeah, just a little bit of mail on that one. But, he's great, Sammy. He's actually really good mates with Chris Sardis, who unfortunately did his ACL against Montmorency in the practice match. So we've lost him for 12 months. Chrissy really come along in leaps and bounds last year. I think he was either second or third in intercept marks for the league last year. So he's only 22, I think, Chris. So, Sam come across and he's fitted in quite well. He's hard and he's got some speed about him, so he's an exciting player to watch.
Mark Baker, 196 centimetres. Was a bit of an arm wrestle between yourselves and Park Orchards where he would play his footy in 2023. He's elected to come to the Burners, and he's one of those guys that we're looking for a really big season, and he's got a bit of flexibility about him. He'll really do a good job up forward, but also play through the ruck as well.
Correct, and down back. He played down back for North Melbourne VFL. So, we're really lucky to have him. He was torn because Park Orchards, I think, was his junior club. Yep. But he obviously chose us, which we're rapt about. And he's a great fella. He's still only 23, so he's got a heap of development left in him. And he'll straighten us up today.
I want to talk some hooks and themes, man. Today is a very special day for your footy club because recently the Blackburn Football Club lost an absolute legend of their football club in Ron Eade, who was just the heart and soul of the place. Is that something today, when you talk to the players and maybe possibly throughout the week, you've spoken about how you can really go out there today and honour the legacy that he's provided the Blackburn Football Club since 1944. Turned up as a 17-year-old. He served the club in various capacities as a player, and an administrator, supporter. Been around the club for almost 80 years of his life, which is an unbelievable accomplishment, and just that dedication to the club. Today is that significant moment where players sometimes don't really truly understand the value of those sort of people, the service that they've really given to the club. And I know you're a very young club, but people do have to understand the history and the riches of storytelling about what makes the Blackburn Football Club the club that it is.
it's an interesting one. Game day, I try not to touch on that too much because you can lose focus on what you're actually out there to do. But Wednesday night we had obviously a selection dinner, and it was spoken about at length there. But yeah, it's a sad day. We knew it was coming at some point. I mean, Ron was 94, and yeah, to be around a footy club for 79 years, that's why you get a best and fairest named after him. And he was still on the committee right up until 2004, I think was mentioned.
He was, yeah, he was secretary.
And even last year, I remember, I think he missed all but 2 home games. So the old Itchy and a few of the old boys used to go get him, bring him down about half-time in the development and wheel him into the rooms, and that was his day, and that was his excitement for the week. So really sad to lose Ron, but we're really lucky as a club to have had someone like Ron.
Brendan, great to be chatting with you once again as well. I just want to talk about some of the younger players as well. You know, there's plenty of youth like Lachlan Bajaga, Charlie Oglethorpe, and plenty of others. Just how much do you expect them to develop this year after a pretty good?
We hope they take the next step. I mean, Charlie and Lockie have been playing seniors since 2019. I think was Lockie Budge's first debut year, and then Charlie was 21. So. Yeah, we hope they've obviously had great pre-seasons, bodies are getting hard and etc. Their best footy's in front of them. I think it'd be remiss to not talk about a kid by the name of Christian Zalik. He's had a really good pre-season with Box Hill, just missed out on their list, and he's going to have a big job on Charlie Haley today. So we're quite confident in giving our kids roles. And you watch Zell, he's as strong as anything. So Charlie have a tough time on him.
Yeah, and those experienced players as well for that younger group. You know, your Kate Answorth who has 100 games at the VFL level. Your Patrick Lawless. Just how crucial are they for the development of those younger players?
Essential for your club. Like obviously you're talking about a 2-time best and fairest at VFL level, club captain at VFL level. I've known Cade since my Sandringham days, so I've been coaching him for 12 years now. So Cade is just an absolute blue chipper, and he's as hard as nails. And then you got a guy like Patrick Lawler, who's heart and soul of the club. And then you add a bit of experience in there from Tyler Faulkner and Max Otten and these guys, and you get a good balance. And I think you have to have that. You can't go all one way. And you could even probably point to Roeville last year like that. Yeah, they were young, but they still had some older heads there that straightened them up and gave them a bit of guidance on the field.
Brendan, looking at the last year, the output from the players last year, you were talking about Bajaya was averaging roughly 18 possessions a game. Oglethorpe was around 11. Those younger guys, you'd probably be hoping that they might be able to grab another 5 or 6 possessions a game and give you a bit more value this year as they mature.
I think you probably find Lockie was on the wing a lot last year,
yeah.
So he's going to go play on ball a bit more. Charlie was strictly forward last year, and he's going to play on ball. So you'd hope that those numbers would elevate, but at the same time, all I'm worrying about is their job. Kicks, marks, and handballs take care of themselves if they're doing their job.
Because the one thing that, especially I noticed with Charlie last year, he was getting better as the season progressed. And that game against Vermont, he played a fantastic game that day. He was challenged on a lot of occasions, but he really stood up. And I actually think that sometimes those sort of games actually spur their players on to greater heights. And I think Charlie will have taken great benefit out of that.
Correct. And then he was actually flying to that point. And then we had him on Charlie Haley here, and he got a really bad corky that kept him out for 6 weeks, had to have it drained and so on and so forth, which sort of stunted his season a little bit, but he'll be one to watch this year. And I think there's a couple other young guys too. Ben Horsnell's an absolute jet.
And Apple?
Apple, he's been at the club for nearly 10 years now.
Yep.
He's played 2 senior games under me last year. He could have easily wandered off to a Division 1 or Division 2 club. He was getting hounded left, right and centre. He's a great story because he actually just put his head down and said, nah, I'm going to play Premier footy. He has trained his arse off all season.
And that's what you need. We need those younger kids now, especially with the way the point structure is and the finances of the clubs themselves. They've got to be more financially prudent than what they've ever been now.
Correct. Like if you had said to me before pre-season, Jacob Epple would be playing round 1, I would have laughed at you. But he has worked so hard, and his practice matches, we could not pick him. He was knocking the door down.
Absolutely, and just one other thing, obviously you speak about Balwyn, probably one of their big strengths is that forward line, and they bring in Walker as well, and you can talk about Haley, as you mentioned, with Zach with the job on him, and they do have multiple options as well, so how do you sort of deal with that during the week to work out how you best control those big figures?
Winning at stoppage so they don't get
That's
it. Pretty simple.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Absolutely. Brendan, thank you again for your time. You've always been fantastic with us, and we wish you all the best for this afternoon.
Great call, boys. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the Blackburn senior coach, Brendan Allen. Always been generous with his time, boys, and they did a fantastic job last season to finish in that sixth spot, which was a bit open for the first half of the season, but they made the most of their opportunity, Spider, in the second half of the year to snatch that spot, and again they'll be one of those sides fighting for a finals place this year.
Yeah, they will be. And I think the biggest thing for Blackburn, it's going to be wins early, being able to maximise and sustain performance and consistency right throughout the season. We know they've got a strong defence. We know the midfield can, is as good as anyone. It's just whether the forwards are going to be able to kick those big winning scores, and they're going to have to do it a little bit different to others. But if they play to the confidence and the capacity that they're capable of, there's no reason why they can't do some good things in 2023.
Yeah, and interesting chat with him. There's still a lot of talent on this side, Brash, and we talked about some of the outs that they do have. Ryan Bailey from last year's not playing that forward line, but you get those guys back from the VFL level, play full time. These younger players get another season in them to develop, and those are the guys you got to really build the future of the club on. One
guy we had, you're right, and one guy we didn't have that we didn't talk about with Brendan Murphy was Mackenzie Dorian. He's another.
Returning. Yep.
He's a gun little player. He's had to work, and he's played at the higher level, and he definitely adds something to that Blackburn midfield.
He's a former best and fairest winner at the club. Yeah. He's been well established, had a go at the VFL level. He's come back. He's going to be there full time.
And that's the thing. That's going to be a bonus for them this year. Having him right in the midfield in a rotation for barring injury, Spider, it's going to be a big plus for them this year.
Yeah, look, I think definitely he's a big addition to the way their midfield operates. Gives Reid that support, Paddy Laylor, etc. So if they can get a player of of Macca's capabilities, then there's certainly going to be exciting times for him and for his team. But as we know, it's just being able to sustain it for long periods of time.
It's not just the midfield as well, I reckon, for Mackenzie Dorian. He can add so much more to Blackburn's forward line as well. He's a real.
He's very clever.
Yeah. He's one of the
because he knows how to run. The thing is with Mackenzie, one of the things that he's able to do, he's able to run the lines both back and forward. And also, he runs to position very well. He knows where the ball is.
Yeah, he's got a really high footy IQ, and that's only going to hold him in good stead. And it is a massive bonus for Blackburn, I reckon, this year, having him back.
I think definitely. So too. And they do need those options up forward. I think last year, Bailey was the highest leading goal scorer. I think Pat Lawler was the second most. So they do need some options up there, because when you look at a side like Balwyn, and then the other sides like a Doncaster East this year, Noble Park, they all have plenty of key targets up forward, and that's the sides you're going to be really competing against if they want to play finals and then have a real run at it.
Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of getting off to that good start. We've spoken to it about it on the season preview a few weeks back, getting those early wins, because if they do get behind the 8-ball in the weeks going forward, it could put them in a bit of a vulnerable position. But this is why today is such an important game to get off to that flying start.
Yeah, Brash, one of the interesting things about Blackburn is that their opening two games are the marquee matches against Balwyn today, and then South Croydon in a week's time or 2 weeks' time at I think that's at South Croydon this year for Anzac Day. But the issue is that you play two really competitive sides, which is great to get a good look at where you are compared to them. But if you do fall behind, you could be sitting 0-2, and it just makes it a bit tougher in those opening weeks to get going.
It does, because history shows that even with a final 6. When it was final 5, you needed a minimum of around 11 wins just to finish in that 5th position. It's still, for me, that is the yardstick. If you're going to play finals in Prem, you've got to get at least 11 wins. And as Spider's alluded to, and the early wins, and like the early wins for that, if you can be 4-2 or even just 50-50 after round 6, you're still right in the mix. But if you're 1 and 4, 2 and 4, and you've got clubs like Balwyn and Roval and Noble Park coming up in that next month, your season could nearly be shot.
Well, it's keeping the percentage healthy, Brash, and what it is also is we know that we have the draw that's not we're not playing everyone twice.
No.
So some sides have got an advantage, whereas a club like Eastland would come in and they've got a better draw than what other clubs have. So you've got to maximise your draw when it's given to you. And we know this is the last season of that because of the relegation situation. So this is a perfect opportunity for some of these clubs to position themselves, and they've really got to capitalise on that opportunity should that open draw present itself. And there's going to be some clubs that are going to feel a little bit disadvantaged through the draw because of where they did finish last year, but that's probably their own problems for what they did and the way they performed in 2022.
And I just checked, they've got Doncaster East in that third round as well. So that's you can't get much harder in the first 3 weeks. If they can pinch one of the 3, I think this is a good start. And then when you start to play, I think they've got Berwick in round 4 and then Park Orchards round 5. That's when you can really start to get back on track.
What opens up for them?
Yeah, well, and also too, but sometimes because Blackburn's consistency we know can be questionable at the time, those games against Park Orchards and it could be a couple of banana peel type games. Josh.
And potentially against Berwick as well. You know, they've I think there was the 1 draw and the 1 loss last year to them as well. So, you know, if they start the season 0-3, their confidence will be down, and you know they could have the potential to be the banana slip games, and they don't. I reckon they wouldn't want that. They want to get off to the perfect start here. The
way I'm seeing Premier Division this year is obviously the bottom 3 is going to be a big race this year.
Yeah.
But the spot for 5th and the 6th and that range between 5 and 8, I reckon it's going to have different computations every single week, and when that 6th spot, I don't reckon will be decided until around round 17, 18.
Or probably the last game of the season, Brash. But and that's how it should be. Each game has to mean something at both ends of the ladder. And I think for competition to be sustainable and competitive, that's what you want. You want to be going every week knowing there's something riding on every game. And I think that's the probability about this competition this year, that every week there's going to be a game that means something and has a consequence and a ramification going forward each week. So clubs have to be ready to go. There's no there's just no dead games, dead rubbers. Every game means something towards the end result, and that's potentially relegation or playing finals footy.
And what we are alluding to as well is the double relegation, if anyone's unaware. The 2 sides this season will go down a division, so that does make it quite a challenge down the bottom. It was pretty close from 11th to probably 8th or 9th last season, so a lot of sides are going to be on the
percentage is going to be key this year.
Yep, absolutely. So you don't want to be coming out early and copping a belting.
No.
But obviously, Blackburn are pretty well set up with, we've talked about the 19s. Their reserves have been phenomenal. A couple of premierships last year as well. They've always been to have a really strong junior program. So the kids coming up have always been a big positive going into the 19s and then transitioning into senior level footy. So they've never really been, I don't think they've ever been too much trouble to ever drop out. They haven't quite been able to contend. They were in a grand final against Vermont a few years ago. But
2019,
but they just haven't sort of hit that peak spot yet.
Well, yeah, and I'm going to ask Spider this question because, Spider, you've watched a lot of EFL football and you've seen a lot of junior programs throughout your life in the ENFL. Do you actually think that Blackburn has got full value for money out of their junior program in relation to translating to seniors?
I think it's a great question, Brash. The reason is, because
Vermont's in the same boat too.
Yes.
And the thing is, you're looking at those 2 clubs, and they've probably got the 2 of the best junior setups in the comp. But yes, they do get players, but they don't get the top quality ones, do
Well,
they?
well, the thing is, you can be cherry-picked, and we talked about this last year. What can happen is you can be a victim of your own success to some extent. So let's take Blackburn for an example. They win the under-19s and reserves premiership development grade reserves premiership last year, but you still lose a lot of players. So there was players that went to Donvale and a number of other clubs in the off-season. You still got to bring those 19 players through. A player like Kyle Dove, an example, goes to Eastland, decides, I've played Premier, I'm probably going to be a better player. If I go down and play in Division 2, I can be a standout player. If I play in Premier, I've probably got to put that extra commitment in. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do. I want to. Maybe I don't. But it's that full value. And then at some point in time, there's not a room for everyone coming through at a junior club. So sometimes you're going to be a bit of a victim of your own success. So players do get a bit disillusioned, and they go, well, I'm not going to get that opportunity because there's not 18 places in a team for every player coming forward through from the under-19s or from a reserves premiership. There's only probably a handful of spots, as Brendan alluded to in our discussion just a few minutes ago. So some of these players who are on the cusp of senior selection, they start getting it into their minds. Do I want to go somewhere else where I can play regular senior football and potentially get paid or play a lower grade, go to another competition and be a standout player, or do I bite my tongue and do I play in the reserves, be loyal to a club for a long period of time? Well, sometimes the answer is pretty straightforward for some players. They want to go and play senior football and maximise their potential.
I also think too, and Brendan did actually allude to that, Josh, the importance of the exit interview now, even at the local level, because I've always been a bit of a firm believer, and I've spoken to a lot of young guys. At the end of the day, Josh, right, as a footballer, you end up working out your own level where you think you're going to be the best. And you know, look, I've seen many a good player, right, play in really good sides, and they're in that 26 to 30 bracket. Yet they just go down one division, and like Spider said, they're a star. And I think nowadays, I don't see the younger players of today as patient as what they were in days gone by.
No, that's right.
Yeah,
they're not.
They're definitely not. And you know, you look at Carl Heagney, for example. He's still a young player, and you got Will Lambert, who were both players at Balwyn last year. They decided to head down to Donvale, and you know, there is a little less patience. They just, I think they're eager for that opportunity. And you know, some of these players they would have played alongside Coates League players. Now they would have played alongside current AFL players as well. And you know and if they go down a couple of levels and with that experience at the top, they'll make them 10 times better, I reckon.
And the thing you got to consider too, guys, is it's generational too, and you have that opportunity. So a club like Vermont and Blackburn at the moment, they could have a group of players that are not quite as good as the previous group or the next group coming through.
No.
So what can happen to this group at Blackburn? They might just be at that level. That's going to be the best that this group's going to provide, but the next group might not be quite at the level, so therefore that stunts the development and future growth of the football club, and then obviously the club takes a few steps back down the ladder and potentially maybe out of a division. So, and that's the risk you take. So it's a little bit of rolling the dice, and you've got to be really careful.
It's a good time to transition into Balwyn. We're going to have Brent Sanderson come in just a moment, which will be fantastic. Have a chat, taking over the senior coach role from Rodney Eade. Brash, I'll just ask you this first. Rodney Eade's a fantastic coach, and Brendan Sanderson's just as strong with the history and background in the AFL and coming to Balwyn. What does that say about this club, that they are just to be able to bring in those elite coaches to take over the side?
Well, obviously, look, you've obviously got some good big movers and shakers at Balwyn. Let's be honest. You've got Richard Wilson and Paul Jackson. They've done well. They've worked really hard, right? Because when they came into the competition, right, they were one of those clubs that wanted to break Vermont's dominance, very much like Noble Park. And look, they've done a fantastic job, Balwyn, since they've come into the competition, and they've actually strengthened the division in doing so because of the fact that they've been able to draw on these coaches. I don't think that I don't think Balwyn are losing anything with appointing Brenton Sanderson. Sanderson himself has coached at the AFL level. He understands all the machinations that goes on and off the field. He knows how to deal with players, what the expectations are. So Balwyn are just gaining everything that are gaining a lot more.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and here he is. He's just joined us out in the balcony, Brenton Sanderson, for the first time today. Thanks for coming down and giving up your time. First game, obviously, coaching the club. We know about your history, certainly, and you've come to a pretty successful club since they've joined the Eastland League. And what was the big selling point for you to be able to come down and take the role?
Well, obviously, Balwyn's a very proud traditional club that's had a history of great success. So it was a pretty easy decision, to be honest. It's a fantastic club. Great culture, amazing committee behind the scenes. Obviously, the footy department's great, and obviously really appeals to me with the stand of the players too. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to today. It's been a long summer. I know every footy coach says that. It'd be nice today to get out and play against a real opponent rather than just doing scratch matches all the time.
Yeah, Brendan, when you first came to the club, did you actually, obviously, Paul and Richard, obviously the power breakers of the football club, but they are very well respected and very knowledgeable. Did you? It probably, like you said, it wasn't probably a hard sell for you to come and coach. But did you actually get a chance to speak to, say, Rodney about the club itself and the current list, so that you had something to work with when you started?
Yeah, I caught up with the committee. I caught up with Richard and obviously Paul Johnson, Vin O'Halloran, who's the new president.
Yep.
And then my second meeting, there was about 15 players came.
Okay.
So yeah, it was pretty easy. The boys were incredibly driven about getting back to some premiership success. I know it's been really hard for every community club, not just ours, on the back of COVID, and footy across the nation has been really impacted. So it's just great to have supporters back here today, and the boys have had a full summer training together. But yeah, it was a pretty easy decision for me to make.
Every coach brings a new game plan to a football club. How's the buying been from the players from your perspective, and the scratch matches and the pre-season games? Were you happy with the way that they implemented what you require so far? Yeah,
it's. I guess every coach has their own philosophy around how they want to play and the style that they sort of prefer. Not that I've got a lean towards being more defensive or more offense. I just think I'm sort of drawn to players that just love the game. They love training. They love being involved in a culture of success and winning. But yeah, there won't be too many tricks when you play against Balwyn. We'll just do we'll try and do the fundamentals really well. We've got a lot of talent on our list. We've recruited really well, so I think we'll be hard to play against as long as our attitude and our desire to succeed is there, which I'm sure it will be.
Sando, great to have a chat to you. Pre-game, good luck for season 2023. Josh Walker obviously is the big name that comes to mind straight away that'll be out there today, and he can play at either end of the ground. What do we sort of anticipate that he might provide today, but also throughout the season? You've got great flexibility with him because he can play anywhere, basically.
No, you're right. He brings experience and talent and leadership, and he's just a great player. He probably should still be playing AFL. He's got AFL. Obviously, he's had a great AFL career, and he's at the time of his career where he's looking to, I guess, step into the community footy, be around his mates, have I guess a little bit less pressure than what the AFL provides. But you're right, we can play him in a variety of roles. We can play him forward. He'll start forward today, but we know that he can be a really effective defender as well. So there'll be some games we'll start him back. There'll be some games we'll have to switch him back, and there'll probably be days as well where he starts as a defender and then pushes forward when we need to score a goal.
Charlie Haley has been a big player for Balwyn over the last few seasons, just one of those X-factor players, but he's also going to be playing a little bit for the Swans at VFL level this year, and having to juggle that's going to be a challenge for yourself when you come across those sort of issues regarding during the year. So how are you going to sort of handle that with, some players coming in and out of the team and sort of trying to have that continuity, on a week-by-week sort of scenario? How do you sort of deal with that as it happens?
We just got to be quite fluid with all of our players that play VFL and then come back. We've got a few guys, Vince Sagari, who's down at Sandy, and we've got Henko Kronya, who's at the Bull Ants. Caden Schreiber, who's at Collingwood. So we've got to deal with those sort of situations most weeks anyway. Charlie's going to be no different. He's been really open about, his ambitions to, try and play at the top level, and it's a great reward for exactly what you said. He's been a really important player for Balwyn for the last 3 or 4 years, and he's now our joint captain with Jeff. So, yeah, I think we get him. I had a look the other night. He's still going to play a lot of games of footy for us, and we'll be quite fluid, I guess, with his role with the Swans.
And it's really important for someone like yourself who's come from that elite performance and coaching background to encourage some of those guys that still have that aspiration and ambition to pursue their dreams of playing AFL football, because it's not the end of the road for some of these guys. For some, it can be the start of amazing careers. You only have to look at a perfect example that you're well aware of, and that's James Podsiadly, who was the great story, with Geelong, and then went across to play at Adelaide, and played in a premiership. It was such a dominating player at VFL level. So it is proven that you can be a maturing player and make a big impact. And if you play good footy at community-based level, then the recruiters will certainly find you.
No, that's right. And you're right about James Podsiadly. He got drafted as a 29-year-old and then played in a premiership for Geelong, ended up playing close to 100. Oh, no, did he play 100 games? I'm not sure. But
just over, I think. Yep.
Yeah, so it's there are some fairy tale stories like that. And Charlie, you're right, he's got so much talent, so much to offer. It wouldn't surprise me if he got picked up in the mid-season draft as a 29-year-old for a side that needs a small forward in the second half of the year. So he'll play Swans VFL, and when we get him back here, I'm sure he's going to continue to be a really dominant player at this level.
Exactly.
Brenton, great to be chatting with you. A couple of other debutants as well, Josh Wise, Fraser Hicks, Aaron Britton as well, coming across from Deer Park. Just how excited are you to have those boys on board, particularly Britton, who's been a star of a really strong Deer Park side in the West?
Yeah, that's right. Really excited to see those boys today. I think we've got 6 or 7 guys playing their first game for the club. So the committee were great in identifying some gaps, I guess, in the squad, and they just kept bringing in talent, So, yeah, really grateful that we've been able to strengthen the squad, it feels like, over the summer. And, obviously Josh Walker, but you mentioned those guys, the guys like Aaron Britton and Josh Wise, Fraser Hicks, who have played a variety of clubs across suburban Melbourne and also in the bush. It's great for them to get an opportunity to represent the Tigers today.
And one player that isn't playing today, Levi Greenwood, another ex-AFL name coming across from Deer Park. Just how much of an impact has he had on the younger players?
He's great, yeah. He's an incredible person, Levi. Fantastic AFL career. So, yeah, it's just been good to have him around the club with his leadership, and hopefully we can get a few games into him this year as well.
And one final one, Rennie Gilchrist coming back to the club. Just how crucial has he been as well to helping you get an idea of the league and get an idea of the players as well?
No, he's been great. I'm very grateful to have someone with his experience, and he's the captain of the century for the Balwyn Footy Club. So anytime those sort of people walk into your footy club after being out of it for a while, you're obviously really grateful. And you're right, he's just so calm. His footy knowledge, he knows this league really well, and obviously knows the club. So he's, I guess, my right-hand man, along with Paris and Hamish. So, yeah, it's good to have those boys involved.
One final one from me, Brenton. How much, when you look at, when you're playing at the elite level, and obviously you managed, you looked after, right, you've got routines and that, how much more has a local player got with regards to commitment, improvement, and and doing rehab? Have they got much left to give at a level like this?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's one of the things that's really impressed me with Balwyn is that even though it's a community club, it's a local club, the players are really driven with their, I guess, professional attitude. We train twice a week. The boys push themselves really hard. They have a few laughs, like every footy club, before and after the sessions. But when it comes to game day and obviously the training sessions, they're switched on and ready to go. So obviously, we're not fully equipped like an AFL club when you've got resources. The boys have to go off site for for physio and to get treatment and get assessed and all things like that. But yeah, the boys are, I guess, driven enough that if they want to succeed, that's, I guess, some of the sacrifices they have to make.
And it's good for you too, in that you're around a footy club that it's all about volunteers.
Yeah, that's
and it's
right.
about people. And the thing is, sometimes some of the things that you take for granted, I mean, you worked at an elite environment, things are done for you. You click your fingers, it's done. Where sometimes as the coach, things that you might not even be necessarily thinking of, you go, oh, hang on, that wasn't done.
Yep.
And then you actually have to go and do it yourself, just because there's no one else around to do it.
You're right.
You become a volunteer in respect yourself because someone has to get the job done. So it's a real part of the fabric of community and local football.
No, you're right, spot on. And that's, I think, I mentioned before about COVID and the challenges that every community club had during COVID, and now after COVID, it's trying to welcome volunteers back to their local footy club. And I know we're not alone. Every club has their challenges now about providing support, unpaid support to their footy club, and I think it'll be a slow burn. I think, I'm very grateful here. There's so many fantastic people behind the scenes that help the club operate effectively. So yeah, I think every club would be hoping that this year and next year that we'll get some more volunteers back at the footy club.
Brenton, it's a busy afternoon for you, so we'll let you go. We thank you again for your time this afternoon, and all the best for today and the season as well.
Thanks, guys. Have a good call.
Thanks.
No
That was the Balwyn senior coach, Brenton Sanderson. A fantastic job for the club to get him on board. We're going to take a short break here, and when we're back, we're going to get into analysing the big game of the Eastland Match of the Round.
Hi, I'm Ben Desson from Montrose Football Netball Club. And when I need a new kit for a night out, I head over to Eastland. But Eastland is more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been major partners of the Eastern Football Netball League since 2018. Thanks, Eastland.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
The first time I met the team at Tobin Brothers Funerals, I felt like I'd known them for years. They're so caring, honest and passionate. James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals, sums it up best when he says,
Every day our people get out of bed to assist client families in their absolute time of need. Our people love what they do, and you will not find a more highly trained group of people than those at Tobin Brothers.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1
with live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome to the Eastland EFNL Match of the Round. It's Good Friday here at Balwyn Park for the marquee clash between Balwyn and Blackburn, two great premier clubs. I'm Ryan Long, joined by Wayne Brasher, Matt Spider-Lee and Josh Ward. We've just had both senior coaches on. We touched a lot on Blackburn in the first part of the show, so let's jump into Balwyn a bit. it's a stacked lineup, and especially for me, I just keep going back to this forward line at full strength today. You've got your key players in your Charlie Haley, Jordan Lyle, Jeff Goebbels, and then you throw in someone like a Walker if they choose to play him up forward. I know he can play in multiple positions, put him down back, wherever you want to use him, but that forward line today is just a nightmare for Brendan Allen to deal with, because it's if Balwyn get on top in the middle, they might be in for a long day.
Well, it's the pressure that they're going to present, Brash, I think. And that the reality is we know that Blackburn will do okay in midfield, but it's whether they can win continuous stoppage and then whether they can get their run and carry going and transition the ball. Because we know it's a small ground here at Balwyn, and Balwyn will make you pay on turnover. They move the ball particularly quickly, and they could score very, very quickly and put a number of goals on you very fast. So you can be right behind the 8 ball. So very important to get off to that flying start. I think for me, the way that Balwyn have gone out and been very strategic in terms of their recruiting through the off-season has been impressive, as Brenton Sanderson alluded to just in our pre-game interview just moments ago, was quite significant. And I think they've really identified some of those key players, and I think we'll see a lot from their, some of those debutants today. So I think it's a really exciting part of what this game promises to be.
I think going on what you said there, Spider, I think there'll be another 10 coaches that by the end of the day, if this game is a big margin to Balwyn, they'll already be having sleepless nights knowing how they're going to come up with a game plan or a lineup that's going to be able to stop Balwyn. If all the hype about the players that they've got, in that forward line, we've already know the proven ones. I'd like to go a little bit more. It's all right to have a star-studded forward line, but 3 guys last year who played in the midfield just so happened that they led their possessions. Urban with 25.
He had a good season, yes.
Yeah, Sean Cross averaging 25.
Always good.
And Bowen Smith. 22.
Oh, he was fantastic. I thought he was probably the best out of the 3, but I thought Urban really came on, particularly in this middle part of the year, and in the later part of the year really kept them in contention and played some really important games. So I think from that point of view, Bowen Smith, for me, holds the key to the contest.
You go on.
Sorry, Brash.
That's all right.
And just, they're getting usually silver platter service from a terrific ruckman like Chevy Anderson, who's coming off one of his best.
He's improving too.
Yeah, so if they get that silver service delivery from the likes of Bowen Smith, Alex Urban, and Sean Cross, and they're getting that service from Anderson in turn, then it's going to be hard for Blackburn to stop.
Actually, believe it or not, I've done actually some research on these 2 sides, gentlemen, and I've gone back to 2006.
You love your research.
I do. Now, I've gone back to 2016, and I've looked at the head-to-head records of both these sides, right? Now, if I told you, right, that Balwyn haven't beaten Blackburn here at Cherry Road since 2017, would you believe me?
No.
No, you wouldn't.
Probably not.
No. And so Blackburn...
Balwyn have never beaten Blackburn here in that time. Is that what you're saying?
No, Balwyn haven't beaten Blackburn here since 2017.
There you go.
So that's we're into the 5th year. And believe it or not, Blackburn's win record against Balwyn is 60-odd%. They've won 8 out of 13. That's including finals. But the holy thing is that this ground is very similar to Moreton Park, and and obviously it suits Blackburn as well when it comes to opening rounds of the season. Balwyn have won 4 out of 6 round ones in the last 6 years. Blackburn have won 4 out of 6, but they lost last year. So both sides are proven to get off to a very good start as the season progresses. And I just think that I just thought that was an interesting stat that Blackburn have won their last 3 games away down here, and it's not the fortress for Balwyn against Blackburn that we all thought it was.
Well, it gives them the confidence, Brash, that they know that they can perform here as a club. So they don't have any fears about playing here. But also, by the same token, too, every season we all know we start afresh and anything can happen. So, yeah, look, Blackburn and Balwyn would be fresh in their minds that Balwyn would be still very confident on their home ground that they could, they can do the job today. But Blackburn's a great challenge, and to have that little bit of history in their pocket, they'll certainly use it if they get the opportunity to.
They probably don't even realise.
I would think there is players. No, speaking to some players, Brush, they have spoken and said, I know a couple of players I spoke to during the pre-season and even more recently in the last week or two, and they said that they knew their record here was good.
And the last time they played out here as well, it was a 40-point victory, and that was thanks to, I think, a 50-point to only 3 goals first quarter to Blackburn. So, they'll need to get off to that. If they can get off to as quick of a start as that, they know they can hang on here because they did it last year. And I think it might be. I think that might come back to bite the Balwyn players as well, especially if it's a close game, knowing that they've haven't won since 2017 against Blackburn out here at Cherry Road. If it's close, it might hold Blackburn in good stead.
And the conditions too is an interesting one. If it does start to rain, as it's predicted by a few, it might make it a bit more of a tighter contest, and it certainly would maybe take a bit of the advantage away from those big forwards up forward for Balwyn. But one thing that you said in the pre-season, you were pretty high on the Tigers, and so are a lot of people. Yeah. But I think you've said before it's premiership or bust. I'm not quite on that sort of train, but. How highly do you rate this side that you think you can go all the way? And I know that was before as well. I think we knew that Haley was VFL listed and a couple of other things, but obviously you're backing them to have a really big season.
I think so. Just their only problem is consistency and depth as well. Like I think that's what you and Besto talked about in the preseason podcast, Spider. That ball, and they lacked somewhat depth and. That's the big problem. How do they replace the likes of your Haleys, your Shivers? They've got Tom McCaffrey on their list. That's
when you got Levi Greenwood running around in the Magoos, mate. There's a replacement. I mean, didn't Brendan Allen say it's probably the most expensive assembled reserve side in 50 years? I was just having a think. I was thinking about that when he said it, and I thought, yeah, it is. And then all of a sudden, we're talking about the players that aren't playing yet, and Gilchrist and Greenwood, and then there's another one. So I mean, look, depth is everything.
But you can't rely on the older senior players because if they do get injuries at some stage, there's going to have to be some younger players that they're going to have to develop at some point in time. So depth is really important to keep bringing through some of those younger players.
I think it's always hard, gentlemen. As Brendan said, look, he's quite happy to hang his hat on the fact that they produce VFL, AFL and VFL players, and kudos to that. But then all of a sudden, it's always going to be a really fine balance about when do you start bringing the youngsters in or not.
Yeah, definitely. And one other game that's happening today, we're just going to quickly touch on it for a few minutes before we go to our next ad break, is the Waverley Blues and Mulgrave game that's also taking place this Good Friday out at Mount Waverley Reserve. Josh, Waverley Blues had a win last week where Mulgrave were up by, I think, almost 5 goals at half-time, and then in the second half it was all the Rams to take a win there. Actually, what do you make out of that contest? Because I think the two sides are certainly expected to be in that top 6, and these are the sort of crucial games that you take a win over the other and really put yourselves into a prime spot early.
It's an 8-point game, I reckon, just because I think these two sides they'll definitely be two sides battling it out for that 5th spot or that 4th spot even, and whoever gets up here, it's going to be big for their confidence. And Mulgrave have shown they can, if they have shown in that first half of footy, their good footy is good under Matt Richardson. But it's about sustaining that effort, Brush.
My problem with Mulgrave, they are just one of those sides. They're a tipster's nightmare because you just don't know when they're on and when they're off. And I'm going to bow to Spider here because they played East Burwood last week, and obviously Mulgrave were competitive for a while. What was your take on their performance against East Burwood last week?
It was definitely a game of two halves. So clearly in the first half, I thought Mulgrave had the better of Eastburn through the midfield, completely beat them on the inside and beat them on the outside. But that turned around in the second half because I thought once guys like Mariani started to get their hands on the footy and the Eastburn players started to realise and recognise and tidy up some of their disposal, they really addressed that issue. I thought from a defensive point of view too, particularly I thought Eastburn were better in the second half. They were a little bit at sea in the first half, but I really thought Mulgrave in the second half really dropped off in effort and intensity. I thought they were a bit disappointing, to be perfectly honest. I thought having a 5-goal lead almost at half time, I felt that they thought that the job was done. And that was the way that I interpreted the performance.
So in that instance, gentlemen, would we say that could be what we would classify as a typical round one clash where one side jumps out and takes the initiative early on, and then obviously their conditioning runs out and it brings the other side back in? Is that where we're... Because that's very much how the Donvale-Warrandyte game panned out last week. Is this a typical round one game?
Possibly. And I think with Jong and Roberts playing up forward, they looked okay in the first half, but after half time, they were barely sighted and they just didn't have that support.
So does that worry you? Are you prepared to say with Mulgrave, Spider, you'd want another couple of weeks just to see if their consistently levels goes up a little bit before you'd be confident in saying that they're going to be a factor in 2023?
Yeah, look, I still have the confidence that they'll be a player in 2023, but they certainly have to improve their output for over a four-quarter effort, over 4 quarters. Definitely. I just thought that the intensity dropped off. I thought they probably could have moved a few more players around. And Jong just he went forward. He didn't have really any impact in the middle of the ground. And I just felt that from that point of view, they probably didn't spin the magnets enough for my liking. But you've got to give the credit to Eastburn that really put the wheel to the metal in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to go to our last break before the match day. It's the Eastland match of the round between Balwyn and Blackburn.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, why yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair. Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
There's no mystery about our pricing. It is clearly displayed on our website and our app. We have staff standing by 24 hours a day, every day of the year to assist you in your absolute time of need.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet. Pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to EFL Match Day. It's myself joining the broadcast team. Gavin Casey, Ryan Long will be my co-commentator. And it's great to say hello to all the team. My first week back. Wayne Brasher again. Good to see you, my friend.
Hello, Gav. Great to see you again, and great that you can be here to call the big Good Friday crash, mate. We've called many good games together. I'm sure it's going to be another one of those games this afternoon.
Yeah, it was interesting last year. If we take some, form guides, Blackburn had a slow start last year, and it sort of started with the this game. They didn't have too much run, and I think that's what Brendan Allen's talking about, is getting run from the back line and more dynamic run and carry midfielders into the lineup this year.
They're going to need it because I got a feeling that it's going. The emphasis I think now, Gav, is more run. I can't see the old style game of where you've got a key forward and you're going to be bombing it down to them, because it's just going to give the opposition back line a chance to zone up and man up. And that old ideology now is basically dead and buried, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But it's going to be an interesting game because Blake Tennant with us today. First mentioned today, you're going to have a big season, no doubts. What do you reckon of the potent forward line of Balwyn versus Blackburn scoring opportunities?
Yes, g'day, good afternoon, listeners. Yes, to touch on about that, Gav, it's all first and foremost always great to see you back on EFNL Game Day. It's great to see. To answer your question, pretty simple. I think you've obviously got your big forwards of Charlie Haley, of course, VFL listed this year, which is really exciting for the Balwyn Football Club. But the thing is, I think the big out for Blackburn this year is probably Ryan Baffy. I feel like without Ryan, it kind of shakes up a bit like who's going to kick goals for Blackburn. And it's just going to be very, it's going to be hard to see who's going to kick goals, I reckon. Maybe a bit more from the midfielders as well. But I think Balwyn's forward line is a bit stacked up, that's the word I would say, for a Balwyn point of view against Blackburn. So really looking forward to the contest. Should be great. Should be a great game. Great cause as well for Good Friday.
Yeah, driving to the ground, it was great to see the volunteers with their the tins, so to speak, and was able to hand some change in from the when I stopped at the lights. But this is only a joke. I didn't want to stop at every light on the way here because I'm sort of like, well, I've just gave it to them. It seems a bit rude, but it was great to at least give a donation to what a worthy cause, the Royal Children's.
Definitely, and I drove past the South Croydon Football Club around the corner from my place, and they had all the senior women's side there out on the street with the tins, getting some money for such a really good cause. And I think that's a really important thing, that really great to see footy clubs get involved in something as important as this. And it's also great to have footy on Good Friday.
Yeah,
I don't think the AFL had it until about 3 or 4 years ago when was it the Dogs and the Roos the first time? I think
we've lost that forever if Carlton keeps selling out that game.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know how North Brash constantly getting these Good Friday clashes.
We were good once.
Yeah, that's true. The 90s Brash. And
now we can't beat Hawthorn.
No, you're spot on. But I certainly love having a couple marquee games today. We've mentioned the Waverley Blues Mulgrave one, which is fantastic for both those clubs who have been rising up the division, certainly from a Waverley point of view. And then these two clubs have just been phenomenal. Balwyn have just been fantastic since joining the league.
Well, I just want to make a comment on these flagship marquee games. You've actually got to give back to the community. So it's important for the FNL, as you're part of the administration, so to speak, Ryan, to have the right clubs representing the competition on these days. It's not a right for a club to say, we'll do it. Waverley Blues, is this, I don't know how many times, is this a first for them to host on Good Friday, but for Balwyn and Blackburn to have this day, they've sort of got to contribute back to the league and the community to honour today's. Well, it's just a good day to play footy on.
Yeah, definitely. I think Waverley actually may have had someone that they played against last year on Good Friday in Division 3. I'm not 100% sure. That could have been Anzac Day that I'm thinking of. But certainly from these two sides, it's great to see. And it's an interesting one for Blackburn, as we mentioned, because they've got also the South Croydon game in 2 weeks' time for the Anzac Day. They're two marquee games, which is great for the club. And that they get a couple of matches of the rounds. It's fantastic for them and a bit of exposure. But they have to play two really strong sides, two sides that will be almost certainly playing finals come the end of the year. And it just gives a real test. And then they've got Doncaster East round 3, so very tough start. And I mean, realistically, they could play good footy and still be 0-3.
Well, luckily for them, I think the expanded 6 helped them make a run to get into the finals last year. But mathematically speaking, and Brash, you'll appreciate this, you don't want to get a game or two behind the mathematics of the 50-50 because it becomes a chasing the pack mentality, which isn't easy to maintain throughout the season. So they'll know where they're at, but they also don't get a home game for a couple of weeks because they're still redeveloping the surface at Moreton Park. So in terms of a tough ask, you do want to play the best sides to see where you're at, but you also don't mathematically want to get behind the comp.
No, and that's why you've got to applaud South Croydon a little bit last year when they were off their ground for the first half of the season. And I think they pinched 6 from 9, Gav. You know, so they were even when they hit that run of games where they played their last 9 at home, but one of them was at Jubilee Park. You know, they gained so much momentum. I think they won 6 of 8 or 7 of 8 at home on the run in. You're right. Before you came on air, the importance of staying around that 50% mark early in the season, where you maintain that 3-3 record. But if you're ahead of it, heading halfway into the season, you're certainly giving yourself every chance to play finals. And as I said earlier, I think you're still going to need 10 or 11 wins to play finals in Premier Division.
What was it last year to be mad? It was 9-7 and 1 draw for Blackburn to sneak in.
Yeah.
So well, that's probably the thing with the 6th spot. Maybe you don't have to win those 11 games. You can sort of. I mean, we saw the top 5.
Well,
We're clear.
You're
definitely
right, but
had
if
to.
it was 9-7-1, it could have been 10-8.
Yeah.
So, technically speaking, the draw it sort of
puts it out of
sync a little bit. But that being said, you've got to win the 9 games.
And the important thing is, especially from a Balwyn perspective this year, if they do have hopes for a flag, is to finish in the top 2, Blake, because we saw what happened last year with Noble and Roeville getting that week off. Really helped them out in the long run, and Noble were able to steamroll South Croydon, who were in a really good form coming up to that prelim, and then they got rolled in that prelim, and then Noble obviously going to win the flag. So to finish top 2 this year with the final 6 is even more important than if it was a final 5.
Indeed, as well, and I thought Balwyn probably wouldn't want to. I think they probably would like to get rid of that memory of Doncaster East, what they did to them when they finished third. And top 2 this year is crucial. I think it's if you finish top 2, you get that week off kind of thing where, like as you touched on, Ryan, if it's a top 5 and if you finish 2nd or 3rd, you also get that second chance. So I feel like top 2 this year in Premier is what you want to achieve this year, and I think Balwyn have got the capabilities. They've got the good list. They've got a new coach, new pretty much a lot of new players coming through as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to adapt this year, because I think they'll be looking likely at the results of what happened with Doncaster East, how they got them, and they want to regroup again and hopefully again climb through that ladder and go for that top 2 position this year.
It's interesting in modern football, even at local level, being more athletes on the ground now, they actually prefer a rest rather than continuous finals run. So momentum's one thing. Yeah. That used to be the old school thought, you don't want to have a rest because you're in form. But I think for athletes now, even at local level, they want to have a rest before a big game.
Boundary.
And down to the boundary line, we have Josh Ward with us.
G'day, fellas. It's
It's a lot better than I was expecting down here. I was expecting it to be absolutely bucketing down at this moment, but there is a bit of a breeze going towards the right of your radio dials or right of your screens, and that's the end Blackburn will be kicking to. So Balwyn to the left or to the Maroondah Highway or Whitehorse Road end of Balwyn Park. Do we want to go for tips now?
Yeah, while you're down there, both you and Scott, your tips for this afternoon and margin?
It's hard to go for a margin, but I think Balwyn...
I want a margin.
All right, fine. Balwyn will just run over the top of Blackburn. I think they'll run over the top of them in the final quarter and win by 5 goals, Scott.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Josh has probably jinxed us. No doubt the rain will come in at some stage, but I'm tipping Balwyn comfortably, probably by about 32 points.
Thanks, boys. Blake, we'll start with you as well. Tip and a margin?
Well, like I said, as I touched on before, it's going to be interesting to see how Blackburn can kick a lot of goals this year. So I reckon Balwyn by 25 points. But if the rain comes, I feel like it's going to be a low-scoring game. Yeah, so that's my tip. I'm still going with the Balwyn by 25.
And Paul Uconi in the Car Sales Sat Centre today. Your tip and margin?
My tip, I'm going to go Blackburn by 22 Balwyn by 22 points.
Wayne Brasher, are we tipping the Tigers as well?
Yeah, Balwyn by about 18 points, Ryan.
Yeah, I'll be the same. I will say 4-goal margin in hard conditions. I'm expecting some rain.
It's Tiger time as well.
Yeah,
just quickly,
for one day only.
Just quickly, before we went down to Josh, to finish, as Blake was alluding to finish top 3, you need to at least be winning 12, 13 games to guarantee that one minimum kits. If you get
Can't slip up much.
If you get 16 and 2, 15 or 3, you're going to finish top 2.
And Gav, your tip, sir?
I think the Tigers, but I'm hoping for a close one, so let's just tip a 3-point margin.
Good on you, Gav.
And boundary side, there's Josh Ward.
Forward line with Walker down there.
Here we go.
Well, there we go. So stacked forward line for the Tigers. Be a importance on the Blackburn midfield to get going, especially in this first quarter while the conditions are clean. Kicking start the game for Premier Division is Gav Casey.
It's Balwyn v Blackburn. Good Friday clash. Rucks go out at taps won by the Blackburn tall, but crossed as ever at ground level. First bite at it, but he's been tackled to the ground. It'll be a secondary ball up early in this game. Brilliant tackle applied by Hart. Rucks go at it again in the middle of Balwyn Park. It's Blackburn potentially getting the first out of the centre kick, dragged off the kick, so it's gone misdirected in, and it's been well intercepted for Balwyn, and it's Rid. Rid goes out wide to the Cherry Road wing, and he nearly kicks it out on the footpath, and it's out in the full, so to be a turnover free kick going to Giath. So Blackburn looking to get a proper inside 50, play on call from the wing, load up kick to the high flyers. A huge backer, but it's Blackburn with the mark inside 50, and it's in the hands of Baker. So Baker looking to put the first score on the board for the Panthers, and it was a hopeful kick. Baker, last one to get underneath the ball, and tall and strong in the marking contest.
Yeah, heard huge raps from a Blackburn supporter about this fella just coming in, just signed this year, so looking forward to seeing how he can go with the new colours.
The boys on the boundary line can check for a number 7 for Blackburn. That'll be good.
45-degree angle, 45 metres out. Will Baker, well, that's one of the worst. I don't know if he's tied his boots up properly because that went off left and low, and it's managed to go 45 metres with 2 metres off the ground for out and full.
Good confidence booster as well for the new signing as well. So.
Not the kick though, Blakey.
Yeah, I know.
Dusting off the cobwebs he is, and
the confidence will be up.
Balwyn have just done the same thing, and that's gone straight out of bounds. So Blackburn will get the free kick here to go inside 50 again with Sam Hart to kick it inside for the second time in a row up towards the top of the square. Balwyn have got the numbers. Ball just falls to the back though. They're lucky they've got some numbers to be able to clean up. Here's Hicks, handball over the top, got a man free, kicking it towards the boundary line as Stevenson is turned over, and Balwyn with the intercept mark through Dunn. Goes into the centre corridor, mark taken, and once again they'll go inside 50. Good start, but the kick is a poor one, and in the jumping in the back there. Very lucky. We go boundary side with Josh Ward.
Is big man Lockie Harry.
Lockie Harry wearing the 7 today. as Balwyn exit their forward 50, their back 50, apologies. Spilled out their free kick given towards Blackburn. So they've done well. Made it hard for Balwyn to escape their back half.
So again, another forward injection for the Panthers. Long kick. 2 forwards up underneath it for Blackburn. Ground level ball. Balwyn got some numbers at the back, and all wrapped up is Godleapson. And in the forward pocket for Blackburn. Been the tackle applied by the forward there for Blackburn. Nearly an uncontested ruck contest, but it's been cleared out by Balwyn. They got the ruckman late to the contest. The dumping kick just falls to Blackburn. Zalek hands it off to some teammates. 2 hand passes later. Cross comes in for a smother near the circle, but it's still Blackburn with numbers at ground level. It's Bartlett now loading up a spearing ball. On the bounce, it gets through the spearhead, and Godleapson wraps up his opponent. And we're just going to, just so I check, 37 number there if I can.
Boys on the Vantry.
So it's Blackburn again from 50. A long ball loaded up, and it misses to the left. So off that ruck contest was a quick kick from the back of the pack, but it misses to the left. So Blackburn first on the scoreboard of Bendigo Bank. Blackburn leading by that 1 point.
Interesting enough, the full back line of Blackburn are playing higher up the ground early on.
So clearing it out, this is where they've had trouble with in the early stages of the game. Giants with here for Blackburn. The handball's cut off. Now Sticker can't quite control it. Getting in there is the captain of Blackburn, Patrick Laura, with the tackle. And we'll go boundary side with Josh Ward.
Alexander Tassel is number 37 for Blackburn.
So the ball up just outside the ball in forward 50. Quickly picking it up out of the stoppage. Kick forward. Mark almost taken by the Blackburn defender there. They're in a bit of pressure, and the turnover, bad place to turn it over. Josh Sticker takes the mark for Balwyn, and we'll have a set shot. It was just a dangerous kick around the body.
Well, it's the first inside 50 that Balwyn have had for the quarter. Defensively, Blackburn have played very well in the opening minutes of this contest.
Yeah, it will hurt considering they've had all the momentum. But Sticker will line up for the Tigers to get their season started. Looking for the first goal in Premier Division of season 2023. Comes in. It's a good-looking kick. It's there, and Balwyn have the first. 1 straight 6 to Blackburn, 1 behind on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's been 5 minutes gone in this first term. Paul Uconi in the Carstales sat centre.
Goal against the run of play there for Blackburn is for Balwyn is Blackburn have had the first 7 inside 50s, but Balwyn capitalising with their first inside 50 of the game with a goal.
Boys, it's a pretty interesting start. Blackburn's, as Paul said, has been controlling it, but they haven't been able to put it on the scoreboard with their early entries.
That always happens though, doesn't it? It just happens that way. Now, Balwyn are going into their forward 50 again.
Chevy Anderson roves his own work, and he reels away from the circle, and his kick in the forward line marked by by Lyle, who led out, and 51 goals last year, so he's a very important spearhead, is Lyle, for Balwyn. And it was only 2 people have touched this, going towards goal for Balwyn's second.
He's a big man, Lyle.
Front position, took it on the chest, and he'll be kicking from just the forward arc, going to the White Horse Road end. It's straight through the middle, and Balwyn have got 2 in quick succession. And under the pump, they're now leading Balwyn 2 straight 12. Blackburn 1.6 minutes in, Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Brash, speaking to Brendan Allen before the game, that he talked about the importance of winning it in the midfield, and that's what you got to worry if they're going to start losing those centre clearances, because Balwyn will eat that up when going forward.
Yeah, and the thing is that because they've got so much quality running through that midfield.
And as well, how good was Chevy Anderson there? Nice little follow-up kick to find the target there, so good lead up.
He's improved his aerobic capacity in the last 12 to 18 months. Yeah. Anderson has become a very valuable follower-type player for Balwyn.
11 times in the best as well last year from Chevy Anderson, so expect to see him a lot today.
Well, there's his tap out, and going inside 50 is Urban, and soccer there away was the Blackburn defender who get it down to the boundary line right on the interchange for Blackburn.
All of a sudden, they've just lifted their intensity, Balwyn, and they've got three inside 50s in very quick succession, and Blackburn haven't even really touched the ball.
Well, their defence will be under a lot of pressure as the ball is brought back into play. Tap forward. Tackle there by Charlie Haley.
Good tackle.
throwing the ball, so he's rewarded with the free kick, and he'll send it inside 50 for ball. And they've had all the play in the last few minutes, going far to the other side. Mark not taken, punched away into space. Here's Paddy Lawler for Blackburn, couldn't quite pick it up, and the tackle laid there. On the arc will be a ball up.
Couple of us, just a bit of a sigh there. That was almost a dumping tackle, but it really didn't go on with pushing to the ground. So it's a ball up, half back for Blackburn, but again it's kicked forward by Goebbels this time for Balwyn. So another inside 50. They've had a lethal strike rate. Lyle again from the pocket. He puts it low. Again, it's been marked on the line, and it's just going to be walk through literally. And it's Walker who gets the goal, who marks between the goal post and the point post. After the mark, walks to the goal line and kicks it through.
Blake Walker, first goal for the club. Impressive, and the danger side, the worry signs are here for Blackburn. That's the another inside 50 and another score.
Yeah, dangerous times are ready for Blackburn. I think they just need to regroup. But how good is this? Josh Walker, of course, as Brash would like to say, an old kangaroo. So good to see him. Good welcome into the club to kick his first of his ball career. Looks likely to have a big year for the Mighty Tigers this
Paul
year.
Uconi in the stats centre.
Balwyn have had the last 5 inside 50s of the game, and their stoppage work has been really good. They've won 5 clearances to 1, and they've taken 3 marks inside 50 to 1. So Blackburn, Balwyn are well on top at the moment.
Well, back in the middle, punched away this time from Blackburn, but it's all Balwyn. They've got some numbers here. One of them is Wheaton. He's tackled as he got the handball away, passed off to Hicks, and they're out. They've got some numbers. They're on the far side of the wing here. Almost a holding the ball call, but Blackburn recover it and they'll go forward. It's a 2-on-1 situation. Doesn't work out well. Now through Wheaton, can get it going forward. And they lay a tackle on the on the inside wing in front of our boundary riders. 9.5 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's Balwyn 3 straight 18 to Blackburn 1 behind. And a little tackle here, handball out. Balwyn, Blackburn just get the ball going forward here through Reed, but the kick's not a great one. It'll roll out of bounds. And it's probably just that kick inside 50 to hit those targets. They hit the first one early, and then since haven't really had great ball use going forward. They'll look to make the most of their opportunity. They trail by 17 points early in this game. 10 minutes gone. There's the ball brought back into play, inside 50 for Blackburn. The kick out here by Anderson doesn't go too far, and we'll get another ball up.
Without a sort of key forward, Blackburn are going to be rely, like Blake has alluded to, on a lot of contributions from the majority of their forward line right throughout this, not only this game, but from the whole season in general.
Absolutely, as the ball trickles over the boundary line once more, and we'll get another boundary throw in.
I notice a trend here with a shallow tap by Anderson. He almost wants to rove every contest he rucks. He's done 3 times in a row, pretty much. So we'll see.
It almost seems like the other Blackburn ruckman's backing off, isn't it?
There he goes again, but he taps it out the back, but it does go to the Blackburn player. But the numbers again with a bit of power running. Turnover from the tackle. Blackburn from 40. What a tackle applied. Gave the opportunity. And on the run, it was Oglethorpe who capitalised and he put it through.
Very good there by Charlie Oglethorpe. Was in the right position at the right time. Benefit of a great tackle there. Balwyn player just got caught flat-footed, and Oglethorpe was there to take their interception and kick a lovely goal on the run.
And Blake, that's the pressure that they're going to need, especially with the bit of a shorter forward line compared to Balwyn. That's where you're going to predominantly get your goals from.
Indeed, they need a little crafty small forwards. I think that was again a midfielder goal there by Oglethorpe. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to get the goal kickers, but they're very crafty, and looking forward to seeing how they can adapt.
So back in the midfield. Here's a chance here for Charlie Haley. Handballs it out to his teammate in Britain. Will kick it down, looking for Goebbels. The kick's too far out, and that's gone out on the full. So Blackburn will take the kick on their half-back line. They'll chip it backwards, and they'll look to switch the play as they come to the broadcast side. Mark needs to be taken, otherwise they could be hurt on the turnover, and they will be. Here's Urban, hand passes off. I've got players out. Wheaton's there. Doesn't quite get to him. They're going to have to be clean. Paddy Lawler with the tackle. And the ball spills out. As Blackburn have a few numbers, but they're under a lot of pressure here. Snapped it off taken there by Hicks, puts it up towards the top of the square. Walker's there, and then a mark's taken, and I believe it's Lyle. They had the two big fellas down there, and Lyle takes the mark and will go back for his second goal of the afternoon.
Those two guys, Walker and Lyle, are going to create plenty of headaches for many back lines this season.
Well, that's the thing. They had Walker covered, but Lyle was just in front of him to take the mark, and coming in from about 15 metres out, and it's gone to the left, so it's just a behind. They lead 3-2-20 to Blackburn 1-1-7, 12 or 13 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Well, effectively, both those players can block space and give each other a free run at the contest.
So Hinkley's waiting for it to all come back from the tram tracks, but it was a pulled kick from only 20 metres out for Lyle. Long kick out is not marked by Blackburn, and they have to apply a defensive tackle to not allow another inside 50 for Balwyn. The scoreboard at 13 minutes is Balwyn 3-1-19, leading Blackburn 1-1-7. So Blackburn close to the boundary line, have got a couple of runners at it, but the line will beat anything they can try to create, and it'll be a boundary throw in. Defensive side of the wing for Blackburn. They're going to the broadcast, I suppose, the change room ends, and Balwyn are going to the White Horse Road end. After a slow start, Balwyn soaked up the pressure well, and they've capitalised on some forward entries since the first 5 minutes to put 3 goals on the board.
Just seen as well, Charlie Haley is also getting around the ball, on ball a bit, so I think they're just trying to use him to see where he can get involved. He hasn't really been involved as much as we'd like to from a viewer's point of view, so he's definitely on the ball now.
So getting on the ball is Goebbels. Be interesting to see his role develop with the 2 power forwards, changing his positioning in the forward line. He's got up the field to be a part of the contest here on the wing. No clear contest one. Very shallow taps from both ruckmans. Doesn't get out of that circle with one hand pass. Nice spoiling tackle applied by Urban. The hand passes are flying out, and it's Blackburn who got a clearing kick, but it's a high up and under. GF might need courage, but it's Rid in the way at half-back, takes a mark, and I don't know why there's a play-on situation. It looked like a fair mark, but it's been called touched off the boot further down the ground, so the ball up where Rid took it.
I think the thing with Charlie Haley is the fact that he needs to probably play a little bit on ball, because if he's going to play at the higher level, they might want to see some versatility from him as well.
Anderson goes up, but it's Blackburn ruckman in. Harry winning the tap, but it's only gone a few metres away, and a pack of players around it. Blackburn might spill again. Opportunity pass bended towards the forward in Baker. Baker goes for his legs. He's harassing his opponent, and a lot of pressure was on Van Driel. Van Driel just sees it over, and it's out of bounds forward pocket for Blackburn.
Yeah, I could definitely say, there's 15 minutes into the game, and we're trying to see Haley, seeing if he can get around the ball, which is good. So, back to you, boys.
Ball brought back into play inside 50 for Blackburn. Bit of a chaotic bounce here. Grabbing it out there was Baker. Hand passed it all, but it was cut off. Now Urban for Balwyn. Clears it out, and the kick's a poor one. It's turned over. So Blackburn, the intercept mark. They go wide to Dorian. Mackenzie Dorian, that is. Full time for Blackburn this season. It's fantastic for the club. And he'll look to send it inside 50 to Oglethorpe if he can get there. And the ball will bounce out of bounds. So they're inside 50 again. They've got to be able to trap it down here and be able to get some scores from it.
I think that's going to be their problem throughout the year, because they don't have a key forward to kick the ball to. They're going to be looking for opportunities, and they'll be forced wider a lot as well.
So Anderson then had no one to compete with in the ruck. Dorian will get there. The handball doesn't go too far. It's cut off by Sticker, as there's a ball up in the middle of the ground. Out at Mount Waverley for the other game happening today. The Waverley Blues 1-3-9 lead Mulgrave 0-2, 2 behinds. So we'll be keeping our eye on that game across the afternoon. As the kick forward there by Cross for Balwyn. Get it going a little bit, but Balwyn have some numbers. Can't make most of their opportunities. Balwyn player there almost pushed in the back as Justin Reed gets it. Taking out by Sticker, goes inside 50 for the Tigers. They've got some numbers. Walker, handball off to Lyle, shrugs off an opponent, handballs it into space for a player to run onto. They should be able to get a goal from this almost. Well tackled there by Hart. and we'll get a ball up in the square.
Gee, grim defence there by Blackburn, because Balwyn looked like they were going to stroll into an open goal then.
I thought he was open, but it was a good stop there.
It was.
Yeah, just seeing as well, Jeff Goebbels is looking like he's going to play off half back. So, yeah, it's interesting to see where they're going to use Jeff Goebbels, but at the moment he's circling around the half back and half forward line.
Thanks, Blake. As Reed's kick out is going to be a turnover and a free kick awarded to Balwyn, going into the hands of Fraser Hicks, I believe, just on the arc, on the broadcast side. So this is where they've been dangerous. They've got so many options up forward. You can just sort of kick it to the square and hope that a Walker or a Lyle can take the mark. And he might do exactly that. It's a good-looking kick. Won't quite have the distance. Walker's there. Mark not taken. Reed just throws the ball on the boot again. Hart's underneath it. Needs to take it. And he hasn't been awarded the mark and tackled straight away for a ball up inside 50. And they are under a lot of pressure.
He did good. It was well done to get a stoppage there, Hart, because he was really challenged.
We'll just get some stats from Paul as we just have another secondary ball up. A free kick out of the contest, actually. It's an over the shoulder going to Balwyn, so they'll have a shot at goal. Just as I thought the contest was going to wrap up with a ball up, it's now in the hands of William Stevenson will have a shot from 45 on a 45-degree angle. And we'll get those stats in a moment, Paul. But this is another shot at goal for Balwyn. 19 minutes gone. They lead 19-7. And it's a very deliberate approach for Stevenson as he kicks towards the White Horse Road. Left side, it's direct, it's straight all the way. That is a perfect kick from Stevenson, and it's a 3-goal lead for Balwyn as we approach time on. Balwyn a 4-1, 25 leading Blackburn 1-1-7.
Once again, Balwyn's pressure on the opposition in their inside 50 bears fruit, able to win a free kick, and obviously kicking to the tramway end, and where the 109 goes, and we'll hopefully see them kick a lot more this afternoon.
Tickets, please.
Yeah.
Goes to Port Melbourne.
I was about to say Blackburn's defensive pressure has been really good. They lead the tackle count 9-6, but it was a poor goal to give up.
Thanks for that, Paul. Special comments from Car Sales. Handball out for Balwyn as they go inside 50 again in the direction of Walker. Got it. Mark taken, and that's a danger side. Every time they've been able to get that centre clearance, they've been able to hit up a target up forward.
Just saying as well, Juice, how good has the clearance been as well? Worked by Balwyn. It's been really solid.
So Josh Walker looking for goal number 2 for the first quarter. Would be a 5-goal quarter for the Tigers if he can make it. The kick is leaning right, and it's holding on. It's there. It's a goal. And Josh Walker has his second, and the Tigers have 5. 5-1-31, lead Blackburn 1-1-7. We've gone 20 and a half minutes in this first quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Paul Ucone in the Stats Centre.
Speaking of the clearance work, Balwyn are leading the clearances 9-5, and they've had 9 inside 50s and taken 5 marks inside 50 Balwyn. So they're really taking every chance that they're creating at the moment, and they've got a really good advantage at the moment.
So Balwyn dominating centre clearances that are contributing goals directly. This time Blackburn do clear it, a bundled ball forward. Spall comes in from the Balwyn defence. Galipsum did well, but it's Blackburn just working hard, getting it into the open. On the bounce, Bartlett grabs it, but he's trying to get it through hand, not by foot to a teammate. Pendleby's there to mop up, has some help, and they might clear out, and eventually 2 hand passes get to Wise. Urban, they go through the middle. It's a hot footy. It's turned over to Giaff receiving a hand pass. Now the kick inside 50. Who's there for Blackburn? They've got one in between 4. Spilt mark just as it was an opportunity for Bajaya. And now it's Balwyn with numbers after the spilled ball. Clear it out to halfback and out of bounds.
Geez, again, just not nice little kick. Unfortunately, couldn't mark that. But the ball and follow-up work has just been exceptional in the score. They had 4 against 1 then, so great win there for Balwyn. I'm sure Brennan Sense will be loving that for his quarter-time speech.
It's boundary throw in about 70 metres from Blackburn's goal. They desperately need the next one just to keep in this contest by quarter time. On the ball, Wise, and Wise gets tackled out of bounds, and it's over line for another boundary throw in.
when you've got so many numbers around the contest, you're going to win 3 out of 4 of those, and it's just going to completely set you up for many forages into your 50.
Harry gets in front position this time for Blackburn, taps it in the middle. It's danger versus opportunity. Jeff runs onto it, but he's tackled to the ground from behind. But it's not a push in the back. It's a free kick to Balwyn, and Bowen Smith picks himself up with the ball. Looks right, looks left, probably goes more direct. No, goes right. Cherry Road half forward, but it's a spilled ball, and at the ground level it's Rid on the run. He hands it on. Now Balwyn trying to load up a kick. Have the big man's there again. Coming late to the contest. No mark taken from Balwyn by Walker. So a spill ball allows Blackburn to get out of trouble temporarily at least. Horsnile is in half back. Centre square back line. He's now kicking across the transverses the square, but it's a spill ball that lands in Balwyn's hands. Pendlebury hands it over to running teammate in Hicks. Hicks goes wide. Numbers suit Blackburn. This is where they got the numbers, and it's probably why it's not transitioning as well, because they got numbers back at the moment.
Yeah, you touched on that really well there, Gav. Just there's no one up forward for Blackburn. I just saw again there was four players from Balwyn, and there was no Blackburn there.
Something they'll need to address. Here's Lawler. His kick was smothered, and that rolls out of bounds. An update out at Mount Waverley Reserve. It's Waverley Blues 22-2 early on in that first quarter. Paul Uconi?
The Blackburn have had 12 inside 50s, but what I've noticed is that they're not really getting it deep. So they're not really creating enough chances for Blackburn's forwards to capitalise.
Great couple of tackles here from Balwyn in the middle, but one of them, I believe, was a sling tackle, I think, and Blackburn will earn themselves a free kick through Lawler in the middle of the ground. Going inside 50, they've had their struggles. He'll send it down. Balwyn have got 3 on 2. Out the back, Pendlebury, a one-handed mark, brings it in. What a player he's been. His kick's a little bit of a dangerous one, but Sticker's in the right position to take the mark.
Courageous mark there.
That's fantastic.
It's been prominent early, Sticker.
As Sticker take his time before going to the far side, looking for a teammate. Mark not quite taken, ball hits the ground. They've still got some numbers out. They can get off to Cross, who's running. Instead, he chooses to go forward towards Walker, as he doesn't quite collect it as it goes out of bounds on that far side, just on the arc of the Balwyn forward 50. So ball about to be brought back into play. We've gone 25 minutes in this first term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Blackburn can't afford to give away another one. Here's Walker, gets his handball out to a teammate and Cross. Goes back a bit to Cunningham. Kicks it inside 50. It's a 2-on-1. Out the back here's Goebbels. But Blackburn do have some numbers. One of them is Zalek, whose short kick to Giath is a mark dropped, but he's got enough time to be able to play on and kick it down the wing. It's a turnover though, and Wheaton, they've set up so well behind the ball, goes inside to Cunningham, who'll go inside 50, and a mark taken, too easy for Balwyn. On transition, they've been too strong, and they're going to get another set shot, boys, through Goebbels.
Yeah. So the last 5 minutes, I've been really impressed with Cunningham. His run through the midfield and his ability to pinpoint a player has been exceptional.
Absolutely. So another chance here. This would be goal number 6 of the quarter.
It'd be
26 minutes.
Great to see Jeff back in the contest. He only played 5 games last year. He was riddled with injury. He's a premier player, and you could never forget that big torpedo in one of the grand finals many years ago.
A famous player for the Balwyn Footy Club. Comes in for his first goal, not quite, of the 2023 season. Hits the woodwork. Just a minor score. 5-2-32 the Tigers to Blackburn. 1-1-7. 26 and a half minutes gone in the first quarter.
Not his usual style. Didn't kick through it. Tried to spear it in with a jab kick because he was only 30 out. And in the end, he speared it into the goalpost. So it's a minor let off there for Blackburn. And their kick out gets as far as the outer wing. And it'll be a boundary throw in. So Blackburn, sigh of relief moment now as we approach quarter time. 32 plays 7. Balwyn out of the blocks really well in season 2023. Very potent forward line, and Blackburn just trying to get their forward movement much more smoother to create more scoring opportunities. They can't break out of this contest. Closer to centre wing it is. Rucks go at it, Harry wins it. The ball's allowed to spill out, and it's a scramble for the ball, but no clear winner comes out, and it'll be a ball up. Forward of centre circle at Balwyn Park. Balwyn going to the White Horse Road end. Got the territorial advantage at the moment. They've got ball in hand through cross. Got a handball received, puts it on the boot quickly, but it's a halfback. Well, I assume that was a mark, but it must have hit the ground under a heap of pressure, so Blackburn don't get a relieving mark, and we might have to, we'll just see what happens this contest, then we'll get some stats from Paul. Kick from halfback is just a long bun barrel, goes to half forward. Players running to the back with the flight of it now, and Balwyn happy for the line to concede that territory. Paul, with some stats.
I want to speak about Balwyn's defensive work. The reason why they're creating so many opportunities is their intercept marking. They've taken 4 intercept marks in this quarter, and you know that's why they're creating so many opportunities. They're using the ball well. Balwyn.
Ball brought back into play. Blackburn have a chance here through Dorian. Snaps it to the top of the square. It's a 2-on-2. Can they get a mark? Penbury's out the back.
Oh.
Does well enough to get it over the line.
Own goal.
He kicked it as well. Yeah, he did. And that's a Blackburn score 1-2-8 to Balwyn 5-2-32 as we go boundary side with Josh Ward.
Just an interesting structural change for Blackburn. Max On, I think, is playing up in the forward line for the Burners, it looks like.
Well, I like the move because they've got to change something. They haven't been able to get anything going in this first term as the ball's cleared out to the broadcast side in front of our boundary riders. Mark not taken, drives there for Blackburn, but that's all she wrote for the first quarter. Balwyn will go into quarter time with a handy 24-point lead, 5-2-32 to 1-2-8 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Our goal kickers, Stevenson, Lyle, Walker has 2, and for Blackburn, Oglethorpe has their only major. We'll be back after a short break to get into the second quarter of action for the Eastland match of the round.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
The first time I met the team at Tobin Brothers Funerals, I felt like I'd known them for years. They're so caring, honest and passionate. James McLeod, Managing Director.
Round between Balwyn and Blackburn. Right now it is Balwyn having a 24-point lead, 5-2-32 to Blackburn, 1-2-8. Wayne Brasher and Blake Tennant in special comments. Your thoughts on what was an interesting first quarter? Blackburn started all right, but after that it was all Balwyn.
Yeah, look, interesting points to note. Blackburn controlled the contest for the opening 5 to 6 minutes. All of a sudden, as soon as Balwyn got their lineups and matchups right, they just all of a sudden put the foot down and basically for the last 20 minutes of that quarter, they controlled the midfield. They were able to kick the ball to position, and with 2 big forwards and 2 big targets, they were able to to start putting scores on the board, Blake. And for Blackburn, they're going to struggle a little bit here.
Indeed. It's just interesting to see where they're going to kick goals. I think a lot of the goals will be coming from their midfield, and I feel like that's definitely going to be the key as well. And I don't think they're matching up well against probably the three timber forward line of Goebbels, Lyle, and also now Josh Walker coming into the side. I don't think they're structurally well managed with how they're going to go with those big three. It's definitely proven that as well. So, but from a Blackburn point of view, it's again probably that forward line where it's just not great at the moment. Nothing's really happening. There's this ball, and I've just got numbers to the ball everywhere you see on the picture. I think, for example, there was about four Balwyn blokes that Blackburn just won. So it's going to be interesting to see where they're going to kick goals.
Absolutely is. We'll get an interview from one of the coaches quite shortly with the guys on the boundary, but you're right. I mean, the forward line is just looking so dangerous, and it's hard to really be able to control it with the amount of options they've got. And as we were talking, off air, Brash, you put it up to the top of the square. You've got Walker there, you've got Lyle, and then you've got all these players around him crumbing at the ball. It's a perfect setup.
Well, it is, because if you're a small crumbing forward, basically all you got to do is just camp on those two. You camp on them, on those two, and sit around them, because you're going to get the crumbs. And if you've got space and time, and you're a decent kick for goal, you're going to be able to hit the scoreboard.
And sorry, Brash, to cut you out. Just around the grounds, it's Waverley Blues, a massive first quarter. I don't know if there's a win down there, 41-2, so 41-8, apologies. So good start there for the Blues.
And I think, though, as Blake has alluded to, the fact that Blackburn are going to be relying on their midfielders and half forward to try and generate scores, it makes it extremely hard when you don't have a key forward that you can direct the ball to, so that your runners can feed off a missed mark or a dropped mark. And Balwyn are just able to run into the right spaces and cut the ball off, as Paul Oconee has articulated with the intercepts as well. So everything at the moment just favours Balwyn's game style, and Blackburn are going to have to arrest this very, very quickly, or they're going to get out of hand very before half time.
Yeah, it certainly is. As Blackburn take their time to come off the field, we've got the Balwyn team out there. Interesting game though out at Waverley. To just quickly touch on that, to be that far in front is a bit worrying for Mulgrave perspective, who a side that really got to improve this season if they're going to make finals. But two blowouts at the moment, our two Good Friday clashes. We'll see if things can change in this second quarter, but you certainly need a statement from the Blackburn midfield to. They just have to win the midfield battle. I know it's tough and it puts a lot of pressure on them, but they just have to do it if they're any chance of getting themselves back in the game.
But if you look at Blackburn's midfield, at one stage they had Harry, right, young guy. They had Apple. So they had four youngsters, Oglethorpe, and probably the only experienced one there was Sam Hart. And then
we'll just jump into the boundary side with Scott Hardy.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Brendan Allen here from Blackburn. Mate, bit of a tough first quarter, but still 3 quarters to go and only 4 goals sort of behind. Where do you think you're going to make the change?
We're just all a little bit flat at the moment, and we're not getting our normal pressure off the back that we pride ourselves on, and that's where they're setting themselves off offensively. But 3 big blokes up there forward, we just haven't positioned well. It's just it's all a little bit round one-ish. The boys got to get back into it. But anyway, let's see if we can respond in the second quarter.
And the main message from that break there, is it just lifting that energy and that talk from the boys?
Pretty much. And then, look, we've had good looks. It's just the lack of talk and the lack of instruction out there has caused us to turn the ball over. So it's not like us. So I'm looking for a bit of a response this quarter and see how we go.
I'm sure you'll get it. Thanks, Brendan. Cheers, mate. Back to you, boys.
Thanks, Scotty.
Well done by Scott Hardy there. Good interview to get so close to a coach that's probably coming off a bit of anger or disappointment in his message to the boys, because they stayed out for 3 minutes and Balwyn are like, come on, game on, please. So the start of the second term, Balwyn 24-point leaders after 1 quarter. Blackburn win the first centre clearance, and up and under by Dorian. It goes about 10 metres forward of the centre circle, and hopping underneath it was Cunningham. Takes a good mark for Balwyn back of the square. So he's surveying options, looking left for him, goes to the outer wing, lead up. Haley pushes his man under. He's got some speed to try to get on the ball, but he's not going to be first back. And the boundary beats all, and it's out of bounds half forward. We'll go boundary with Josh from the other perspective, Balwyn's huddle.
Yeah, they were up and about. Let's just put it at that quarter time huddle. The Balwyn side, and they just want to keep being ruthless. They just want to keep playing Balwyn footy, as Brendan Sanderson said. They want to keep putting on the speed in this quarter, and they're really up and about down there.
So the kick goes off the side of the boot. Lyle's running onto it. It does tap to Urban. That's Wise. This time at centre forward. His kick inside 50 was smothered, so it's bounced back, and it's a contest for the ball, and a ball up will ensue. Half back for Blackburn. That was a timely smother, as Wise was going to get another inside 50.
But also, once again, well done by what's his name there? 16.
Lewis Cunningham.
Lewis Cunningham.
Yeah.
Another really good smother.
So ball brought into play again. Anderson, the tap to cross, the kick. They've got some numbers. Almost, they've got a tackle there. Anderson passes it off. And they're very quick with their hands as they look to go inside 50 to Lyle. Strong hands, takes the mark. Might be too far out the score, so he'll pop it up to the square. A mark could be taken here at the back. Falls into the hands of Blackburn through Hinkley as he kicks it wide. And now through the captain and Paddy Lawler will steady the ship out at half back. Short kick. Someone's down behind play from Blackburn. We can't quite see who that is as the mark is taken on the far wing, and they're
lacking
going to
options
slow
here.
down. They just don't have anything going forward. And when they have, Balwyn have just been able to cut off those marks and really change the game, as Dorian seems to be the one that was down, up and walking, which is good, as the kick is out of bounds. So we'll get a boundary throw in right in front of the Yarra Valley Water sign on the far outer wing. Big, important 5 minutes for Blackburn.
Yeah, they've
Doesn't
got
need to be stated. But
they've got to hold here for 5 to 10 minutes here, Blackburn.
Absolutely. Can't let this game get out of hand. Harry with the tap out. Doesn't go too far. Balwyn have the numbers through Quinn. Now Goebbels. He's tackled right away there by Hinkley. And we'll get another stoppage.
He was never ever going to get rid of that, Jeff Goebbels, because it basically was a hospital handball in the first place.
Just a matchup point of view as well. Looks like the young fella of Christian Zalak has got the role of Charlie Haley as well this quarter.
Yeah, Brendan Allen did say that at the start of the game, but should be an interesting one. He's done pretty well in the first quarter, you'd say.
Yep. Interesting decision goes against Balwyn. It's holding the ball instead of holding the man, as the umpire saw it on outer wing. Blackburn just taking the opportunity to slow it down and keep control of the ball. They're really under pressure, and every contest, the handballs out of the heat don't seem to hit a target, where Balwyn have got a lot of trust in their runners. And this time it's a turnover ball that will go to Balwyn. So from half back, here's another runner, but coming behind the man who potentially could kick it. He wasn't on it behind his mark, so it'll be a second take, as Balwyn now have been forced into a slow potential down the line ball, because Blackburn have got one-on-one marking. Well done. Goebbels in back position, nearly takes a mark. Drop ball, though, goes the ground level, where it's a contest for the ball. Getting out of the contest with Bajaya, but he was under so much heat that his hand pass just hit the ground, and it's another contested ball on the deck, as Balwyn, good with run and tackling in the contest, has been spot on too. Half forward for them. They give Anderson, just takes it out of the ruck again. He kicks it forward, bouncing ball in the hands of Zalak, but he drops it just as he tries to get out of the defence. Now the hand pass to Lyle. Lyle will line it up from 40. He was all on his own, and he took his time and bent it around for another goal for Lyle. That's his second, and Balwyn are under 6, leading by 5, 6-2, 38. And Blackburn 1-2-8, 4 minutes gone, second term, Bendigo Bank.
Unfortunate bounce there for Zalek. He did all the right things and tried to make the play. A bad bounce, and the ball's just rebounded into Bowen Smith, who threaded a beautiful handball to Lyle, uncontested.
It also looks like that Goebbels is now starting forward. We saw the first quarter he was off the half back, but now he's circling around the forward line now. So it's an interesting move there by Brendan Sanderson.
So back in the middle, Anderson with the tap out. Doesn't go too far. Wrapped up in a tackle there by Urban. And we'll get another ball up.
Charlie Haley also in the midfield now.
He hasn't had many touches, has he?
No,
so
not really.
Interesting
Yeah.
to see him move up there. Harry there gets a big leap. but doesn't go too far as it's cut off there by Rid.
You got to that's incorrect.
And
disposal.
holding the ball. Here's a chance of Blackburn. They'll play on and go inside 50,
Great
and
kick.
they find a target, and that's the captain. Paddy Lawler will go back and take the shot, and it's a must-kick goal. They trail by 30 points early in this second quarter.
Desperately need this goal. This will be a huge captain's goal if he can convert this.
The first time they've found some space where they've been able to kick the ball into position, Blackburn, for the game.
They use the advantage well. So Lawler will come in from about 45 out. It's a good-looking kick. If it can hold the line, it can. It's there for Blackburn. It's a goal. One they very much needed. 2-2-14. They trail the Tigers 6-2-38. 6 minutes gone in this second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Much needed goal. You know, I think, as I touched on before, that's a good captain's goal. But that's the first look we've seen Blackburn look dangerous with the short 45 kicked there by Blackburn. Then that's good. This could be the spark. You know, this could be where they can get more goals from, and it's good to see from Blackburn. As you say, I think you guys were touching on, this is a huge 6 minutes for Blackburn. So far, they've delivered at the moment. Let's see how they can go.
We'll just keep the ball in the middle now. It's Blackburn trying to get a hand pass to free out of contest. Dorian from half back under a heap of pressure. Cross applied it. He's got help from Stevenson and also Wise there. But Blackburn eventually get onto the ball. It's under a heap of pressure. Cross again in the midst of it. He's got composure as well as toughness. And the ball is from half back. Long loaded ball. Walker late to the contest. Does get his hands onto it as the defender is in the front position. Walker can't pick it up and it's out of bounds. So from Blackburn trying to get the ball moving, the quick transition once Balwyn get it at half back is electrifying, as we'll just follow this ball from the boundary throw in 30 metres around from Balwyn's goals. The boundary throwing goes closer to Balwyn's goals, but it allows Blackburn ruckman to get onto it, and he's got no time to dispose of it, so it's a ball up. If we got a quick stat, Paul O'Coney, go for it.
Yeah, Balwyn lead the inside 50s are 16-15.
So again, it's a ball up. Walker doing some good work there. Gets onto his own ruck contest. Was tackled by Baker, who's doing the ruck work now, trying to get himself in the game, the forward. So Walker and Baker, a bit of how you do. As they go in, Baker wants to run at Walker. Walker stands his ground. Ground level ball rode by Ainsworth. Ainsworth kicks it long to Lawler, who kicked the last goal. The skipper runs onto it on the Cherry Road ring. Now kicks a long ball inside 50. No mark to be taken. Pendlebury composed. He holds his ground. Hand passes, sweeps towards teammate. And they go from one side to the other on half back to Balwyn. They're never pressured into panic, as now the kick goes towards the Urban. Hand passes quick. Now they're going towards the ball. Goebbels can't run onto it. First to it is Dunn, and Dunn kick to Lawler, picks it up on the bounce. That's clean, but he's tackled. He run down behind. The umpire gives him the benefit of doubt that he kicked it. Now the quick inside 50 is marked by Baker, who's just sweeping along half back, and they're under a heap of pressure. Blackburn, as Balwyn get another inside 50. Let's get more stats from Paul O'Coney as Blackburn try to hold on to the ball.
I just wanted to add to the inside 50s on what Blake said earlier. I think when Blackburn are getting it inside 50, what they need to keep doing is opening up the space and lead to the forwards and give them more opportunities to get them back into this game.
It's out on the broadcast side wing. Balwyn with numbers, tackled by two Blackburn players, and he's called for holding the ball. That was Josh Wise there, as Blackburn looked to play on immediately into the corridor through Giath. He can switch it to the captain if he can take the mark. Lawler has got involved in the game recently, but it's all Balwyn with the numbers, and now they're going to attack through. Walker takes a strong mark on the arc.
Dorian no chance, did he?
No, look at the size difference between the two. And he can probably just about kick this from this distance. He's got it in him.
I think
he's right on the arc, so he's got it in him and more.
Once again, it just happens, doesn't it? Just a little turnover, and it creates another opportunity for Balwyn to kick a goal.
Walker, the little stutter step, kicks it right to the top of the square. It's right through the middle, and Walker has another. That's goal number 3. Blackburn's 7th. 7-2-44 to Blackburn, 2-2-14 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 10 minutes gone in this second quarter. And he's been on fire, Blake.
He has as well, and it's great to see, you know, a good AFL listed player to come down into local footy, which is great to see, and he's tearing it apart. I think from a Blackburn point of view, they've got to change some plays around, move the magnets around and find the best position on who's going to be on Walker. So it looks like at the moment it's done from Blackburn, who's got the job right now.
Harry versus Anderson. Anderson sort of wins a nullifying tap, ground level ball, not claimed by either side to advantage. So it'll be another ball up, centre of Balwyn Park. The scoreboard reads beautifully for Balwyn halfway through the second. 44 plays 14. Walker with the beautiful drawing kick from the set shot. That was pretty to watch as he kicked his third.
Update out at Waverley. The Blues 8-6-54 to Mulgrave 1-2-8.
So push in the back will go the way of Balwyn, ground level ball. So it's Balwyn, long ball in. Haley, how does he get 3 metres? Well, you know how he does. He just reads it off the boot really well, and he leaves his defender in the dust, and Zalek just hangs his head going, well, I couldn't get him on that one. And Haley having his, I would assume, first shot on goal.
Once again, gentlemen, it seems that Blackburn have started the quarter with great intent, controlled the contest. Now, all of a sudden, within a blinking of an eye, Balwyn have just...
That's a great kick.
Again, they love the drawing kick from the set shot. He just hangs it up there, Haley, and they celebrate again to the Tigers. 8-2-50, 6-goal lead over Blackburn, 2-2-14, 12 minutes gone, second term.
And that's exactly what... This is a mirror image of what happened in the first quarter, Gav.
Paul O'Coney, more stats.
Balwyn are putting on a clinic as far as marks inside 50 is concerned. They've taken 8 marks inside 50, Balwyn, to 2.
Paul O'Coney in the Stats Centre, brought to you by Car Sales.
Just also want to comment as well. Mark Baker is also swerving around the back line, so definitely a lot of magnets being used by Brendan Allen, the Blackburn coach.
Well, they've just had to, but this time they were able to get the clearance going forward. Lawler's under it, but so is Ridd. Neither of them can take the mark as ball hits the ground. Here's Lawler, the handball out into space. And again, Balwyn are just putting so much pressure on. And once they're able to turn it over, they're off. Just like this, the kick though doesn't seem to be suiting anyone. And instead, Dunn will send it forward for Blackburn. He'll retrieve it again. He's kick inside 50 towards Baker. Mark not taken. Ball hits the ground. Here's a chance through Hart. Snaps it on the boot, and it's just a minor score. And Blackburn go to 2-3-15 to Balwyn 8-2-50. 13 minutes gone in this second quarter.
Sorry, he has actually moved to full forward. He was at the back line just in that last contest. But how did Charlie Harley get 3 plays? I don't know how much space he had.
Lyle was under the long kick out. He does bill it to himself to butter up, and Haley was there for the tap on, and Haley's dragged by 2. That's about as many have to beat him one-on-one. They need 2. So it's Haley picking himself up with the ball. Half-back ball when trying to get out of defence. Sharked ruck contest done well by Anderson. Now the run-on goes to Markowski. Markowski couldn't get the kick going, so it's a handover. Now the looping handover. Lyle in the pocket. He's got Walker, the goal scorer, all on his own. He just had to get on the boot quickly. And Walker, because Dunn committed up the ground, stands Walker, the top of the goal square, and kicking for goal 4.
Brash, he's kicked 3, ex-AFL footballer, and he's had that much time just standing alone in the goal square.
Yeah, this is an absolute luxury.
So Walker kicks his 4th for the day. It's Balwyn's 9th. They now lead by 41, and Dunn's trying to get in the game by running off him, but Walker's so dangerous. That's his 4th for the game.
Michael Dunn is an experienced EFL footballer, and at the moment, Josh Walker is making him look second rate, and that's no disrespect to Michael Dunn, but he's a very, very good footballer, this Walker.
Special comments there by Wayne Brasher, sponsored by Tobin Brothers. But you're right, it's a tough matchup to have, and it makes their forward line look very scary, especially when you've had players who probably like Haley have been a little bit quiet, haven't had to have that impact as they usually do because they have so many stars up forward and in the midfield, and they're just so quick on the turnover. There's the ball in the middle, back again. Blackburn in a bit of trouble. The quick handball out. to Harry, and he's wrapped up in a tackle right in the middle of the ground. We'll get another stoppage. 15 and a half minutes gone in this second quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. And again, they are so quick with their hands. They'll go out wide here, Balwyn. Couldn't quite get to Stevenson. It's a 2-on-2 contest. They just have to win it. Blackburn, socket off the ground there by Bartlett. Gets a boundary throw in inside their forward 50, which is a good result. But now they need to lock it in.
Well, they need to score. They need to create a scoring opportunity out of their rear. And they might get one there because a bit of undisciplined.
A free kick, you're right, it's going Blackburn's way. So shot on goal here. Looks like it's going to be Matthew Bartlett will take the kick.
Just a bit of undiscipline there by Cunningham. He just got, he just sort of just let a...
A short kick plays on and it's turned over. And Balwyn might be able to send it back out. So we thought they were about to have a set shot, but now Balwyn are going down the wing. The kick in the direction of Walker, got 2 to beat. Punched over the line there by Oglethorpe, but we were just about to get ready for a set shot goal there by Blackburn and wanted a quick pass and turned it over.
Yep, and you've got to take your opportunities when you get them as well.
So Harry and Anderson go at it. Anderson got front position, knocked it to ground level. It's spilled out of Smith's hands. He can't get it to a teammate. Blackburn are hoping just to hold it in the contest as Goebbels applies the tackle. It's Urban applying the tackle, and Reid couldn't get out of the heat of the battle. Harry couldn't punch it forward, had an opportunity to get a big punch in, but it's gone out of bounds, sideways off his fist, and we'll have more stats from Paul O'Coney.
Balwyn's tackling pressure has been really good today. They lead the tackling count 18 to 17.
The boundary throw in Anderson in front position, knocks it back into the corridor. Makovsky picks it up, and he's tackled by a couple. And it's holding the ball because it's either taked on or never made an effort. So one of the tacklers was Hart. Hart goes in the centre corridor. This time it's a hit target. Ainsworth looks right, goes out wide where there is one waiting. His late spoil comes in from the front. Umpire says it's a good spoil, and it's going to be a free kick to the spoiler and the wing. And Balwyn, they just get back when they needed to. The kick doesn't clear the man on the mark. Is that a mark when he kicks at 5? It should be play on, but Blackburn will take any advantage from the play they can. Inboard kick to Hinkley. Hinkley goes straight across. It's dangerous if it doesn't hit the target. It's in the hands of Reid. He's got a runner. The runner is Zalek. Zalek goes back into the corridor, runs himself into trouble. Takedown from behind. Now Blackburn can't get out of Soda corridor, and the umpire, luckily for them, says no free kick to pay. I'll ball it up. Centre of Balwyn Park.
The pressure from Balwyn has just been exceptional that last couple minutes just then. Like that crunching tackle there, that could definitely light up a few of the Balwyn players.
Blackburn, they're trying their hardest. They just can't get out of space, get their own space. They probably have too many going to the contest, perhaps. And Balwyn sweating on them beautifully.
It's just the little things as well. They just need to focus a bit more, getting that craft in and looking to get their skills right, executing that well.
Now they're right side of the contest. They had a few numbers, did Blackburn get it inside 50 through Dorian, high up and under is impossible to mark. It's more likely to draw rain. We had that before. Goebbels is part of the chain to clear out a defence. Short pass hits the target. And how clean a Balwyn in comparison. Ball inboard, nearly a mark taken there by Van Driel. He drops it. He was trying to claw it in. So Blackburn now on the turnover. The numbers might help from that unexpected turnover, but that's where the kick doesn't hit the mark. And inside 50, can't even get the distance at the moment, can Blackburn, and Goebbels is on a relieving kick out, takes the mark uncontested. He's got Markovsky on. If he knows his play on the left is a runner, he doesn't get two hand pass to him, but he quickly gets onto his right foot, high up and under. Walker didn't need to have the man underneath him. I think Dunn left the area just so he wasn't in the picture for Mark of the Year, and Walker drops it, probably expecting body contact. Blackburn get out temporarily. Mark taken by Goebbels. He seems to have no one on him, and he's happy with that because he's getting some easy kicks lately.
They were lucky there, Blackburn. I felt like Balwyn had numbers to the ball there.
Walker's underneath, won't get to the contest. Either will, he's smaller man in front, and the defence just comes off on hands, and Zalek sees it over.
I don't think Max Otten's touched the ball yet. I don't think I've heard him in the call yet.
So Blackburn, if not under heaps of applied pressure, they put themselves with skill areas. They're just not hitting targets, are they? But that comes with being dominated as now ruck contest, ground level ball. Again, it's Balwyn flying shot at goal, missing to the right. Not happy with himself with cross. He's cross with himself as he misses, and it's a minor score. Balwyn 9-4-58, leading Blackburn 2-3-15. Time on, second term.
So bringing it out here for Blackburn, Sam Hart. They trail quite a bit at the moment, 42 points. They've just been really struggling going forward themselves, and they've been under a lot of pressure in their back half. The kick out wide towards the boundary line. Reed's there if he can get a hold of it. He'll roll out of bounds though, so we'll get a boundary throw in. As we said, 21 minutes gone in this second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Balwyn 9-3-57 to Blackburn 2-3-15 as the ball is brought back into play. And a chance here, a bit of a change in the ruck. Ball tapped down. Good tackle there by Blackburn, by Reed.
I think he's a bit stiff there, Bowen Smith, because he was tackled around the neck first.
Passed it on to Dorian. Wanted to play on immediately. They're looking to take the game on. The kick, though, is a bit of a dangerous one. In front position, they do take the mark.
Apparently.
That was Harry, passed it off back to Dorian. He's made a lot of ground going forward. The kick's not a good one, and it's turned over. And now Cunningham, who's had a really good first half, will just slow things down. He'll chip it backwards and look to switch the play. And look at their numbers. They've got two out here. Pollux did have sticker on if he wanted him. Went to Goebbels instead. They'll go back. And they're just toying with him at the moment. But the kick, though, doesn't find his target in Smith. And it rolls out of bounds. And we'll get a boundary throw in front of our boundary riders who have survived today with no rain in this first half. The ball is brought back into play. Into the ruck, tapped out by Harry, didn't go too far. The kick goes towards the far side, running onto his Markovski. He can beat his opponent in Ma. Does well, and he earns himself a free kick for in the back. 22.5 minutes gone, plenty of time for more scoring. His short kick out wide, and again Cunningham. It's been everywhere.
He's got ball poisoning at the moment, Cunningham.
Certainly as he goes inside 50. Oh, big fly by Haley. He didn't get near it in the end.
He's just going
and out the back there, Blackburn take the mark, and they could be out through Bajaga. He's got some time and space. He kicks it to a 1-on-2 contest, though. Did well there, got Leibson. Couldn't take it, though, and it's Bajaga again who continued to work hard. Kicks it towards their forward 50, looking for a target in Baker. Does well, but he's beaten by his opponent in Britain, who will send it out to Urban, and now they're out the Tigers. Inside 50, looking for a target, got one. And they've got players out. One of them is Lyle, the other is Goebbels. Take your pick, he'll kick it towards the square and hits the post. They had numbers out everywhere, and Walker was there in the goal square. So Blackburn get away with just a minor score as we go to the Stat Centre for car sales with Paul Uconi.
I think, you know, Balwyn are ticking all the boxes at the moment. It's a very professional performance by them so far. I think Blackburn, they need to get the next 2 or 3 goals before half-time to get themselves back into it.
And Lawler's the man, the skipper, takes the kick out mark, gets it out wide. Now this is a string of play that Blackburn can be proud of, but the kick's too long for their leading forwards. And in position, Gottliebsen, steady as required for Balwyn, takes the mark, top of the goal square. Misdirected kick again.
First touch for Max Otten in this match too.
Gottliebsen, long kick out. It will advantage Blackburn, but not taking advantage of winning the contest. Firstly was the Blackburn player, and it's a ball up 60 metres around from their goal.
Just around the grounds, Waverley Blues 9-10-64 to Mulgrave 2-3-15. 23 minutes gone in that second quarter.
So it's a free kick. You can hear the whistle from the umpire. It's holding off the ball. Free kick. They go to Balwyn. So they really just can't control the runners, and that was the running player there in Balwyn. Short kick up. Finds Stevenson on the bounce. He's got time to try to get a kick forward, but 2 rush onto him. They rush him so much that they hit him in the head as he was trying to kick it forward. He got low, did Stevenson, and he wins himself
Josh is taking a selfie.
So it's Lyle in position. He wrestles his man off it. He's got time to pick it up. He'll hand it instead of kick it because he was getting tackled 30 metres around boundary side, and we'll go boundary side for more comments.
I wasn't taking a selfie, Brash, by the way. I was just trying to record a video for the socials.
Josh, you don't have to explain yourself. We know Brash is taking the P.
I always like to, Gav.
Yeah, I double fight.
As now Blackburn trying to clear the area. Goebbels again emerges on the ball, but he's not going to, this time, sorry, it's Wise, who's been pretty good injecting himself into the contest. Can't get away from the tacklers. So, there's a bit off the ball. Haley was frustrated. Will it be a free kick to Ainsworth? So it's not always the person that starts the ruckus gets the free kick, but Ainsworth was definitely tackled to the ground off the ball. Short kick finds a teammate in Hubber. Hubber goes to GF. He's got to run around. Goebbels, he can't!
That's a great tackle.
Oh, no, sorry, that's... is that
Josh Sticker.
Sticker, who sticks the tackle. Now goes to Goebbels underneath it. 40 metres out, can't take the mark. Haley's there to mop up. He dodges one, goes to the left side, bouncing ball to the goal square, doesn't get to the length of the goals, and Hinkley picks it up on the bounce, clears out the defensive area, maybe only temporarily. As here go Balwyn again. They're playing around with it. Now the short pass on, and it's Lyle in open space in the pocket. Bounce of the ball eludes him from the pass in, as Wise did some good work at centre forward.
Balwyn have recorded 12 inside 50s this quarter to 6 of Blackburn.
So Walker would do the ruck duties. He's got Harry Walker wins the tap, puts it in the corridor. GF wins the contest. Hubber's there to help him out. His clearing kick will be marked by Blackburn in the hands of Bartlett. Bartlett looks at option. Dorian was a runner on the left boundary side. Comes back to take a short pass potentially. Bartlett's wasting plenty of time, and his kick on the bounce doesn't get to his intended in tassel. Lawler couldn't keep it in, and it's out of bounds half forward for Blackburn.
Yeah, look, they're just... even when they give themselves options, Blackburn, they can't even hit the target, and that's not a good sign, even though it's round one. But they're under so much pressure early on.
Second guessing themselves potentially with ball in hand now are Blackburn, because they've been under the pump big time. Hand pass sweeps into the middle. It's Stevenson who kicks it inside 50. Defender doesn't know to go. Keep on play or go for it. Finally, Blackburn do get it in hand. Nicely picked off. Giaff's there to help in defence. His short pass had to have the player run at the ball, and it's Zalek. Does well, and there'll be a 50 20. Because the man on the, it's either inside corridor encroachment or man on the mark. So we'll go out wide, will Blackburn. It's another mark taken. Runner can't get it going this time. Is Bajaya. Bajaya's looking for it inside 50. Underneath it, waiting for it. No mark could be taken for Blackburn as Faulkner waited for it, and it's punched out of bounds for Balwyn.
Yeah, they can't. The thing is with Blackburn, they're not going direct enough. They're just being forced wide nearly every time they've got. They've got free ground. They can't look forward. They're looking sideways.
Otten trying to get in the contest, but he's a smaller man. Anderson not only takes front position, takes control of the ruck contest, tries to get it on foot, but he couldn't clear the congestion, and it'll be a free kick to Balwyn though, because they're first onto it. And Urban has the ball in hand as the halftime siren sounds. He'll give it back to the umpire. Very content with Balwyn's work. First half of the their season, Balwyn 9-4-58 leading Blackburn 2-3-15. Goal kickers for Balwyn by half time. Walker has kicked 4. Lyle has 2 other individual goal kickers, and Blackburn without a multiple goal scorer. As we'll take a break, and then we'll go to a half-time review show. As we go to the break on Radio Eastern 98.1, it's Balwyn leading round 1, 9-4-58 to Blackburn 2-3-15.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? Broke a finger high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
The first time I met the team at Tobin Brothers Funerals, I felt like I'd known them for years. They're so caring, honest and passionate. James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals, sums it up best when he says,
Every day our people get out of bed to assist client families in their absolute time of need. Our people love what they do, and you will not find a more highly trained group of people than those at Tobin Brothers.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Balwyn Park, where we've got the Eastland match of the round between Balwyn and Blackburn, and it's the Tigers leading comfortably 9-4-58 to Blackburn 2-3-15. The major goal kickers. First up, Josh Walker for Balwyn, I beg your pardon. He's got the 4 goals on debut. Jordan Lyle with 2, Joshua Sticker and Charlie Haley, and William Stevenson with singles. And for Blackburn, Patrick Lawler and Charlie Oglethorpe, their only goal kickers. Josh Ward here, one of our 2 boundary riders for that first half, alongside Scott Hardy, and Matt Spider-Lee has joined us, and our former leader, the former EFNL media manager Matt Fodia has joined us for the halftime show. He's joined us here out at Balwyn Park. It's great to have you out here, Fod.
Thanks, Josh. It's a pleasure to see all you chaps again, and can't keep me out of it, Scotty.
I was about to say, it's got a real sort of Blake Tennant feel about
Hasn't
getting
it?
involved.
Hasn't
you
it?
know,
Hasn't it?
we're required. So welcome aboard.
Didn't need to twist my arm, did you?
And Spider, you were watching that first half from up here. What you take out of it? It was a first half. Well, Blackburn dominated for patches, but it was Balwyn's clinicalness up forward.
It's just been one-way traffic, to be totally truthful. Balwyn right from the outset have just dictated the play. Their ability to win clearance, their ability to go in and have those repeat entries and put so much pressure on the Blackburn players and just allow them to turn the ball over consistently so they can then turn the ball over back and transition the ball and create scoreboard pressure. And that's basically what's happened. Blackburn are basically just turning the ball over and not being able to collate and construct any real positive play. And that's been probably the frustrating thing if you're a Blackburn person. Just at the moment, they haven't really got any. They've got no forward target. They've got an inability to be able to clear the ball at any one time. They're struggling to get their numbers back, and plus Josh Walker is just proving so much of a handful down there for them. It's really hard. But I think for Blackburn, they've just got to be a little bit more disciplined and try to get that arm across their direct opponent. It's particularly in that defensive part of the ground, and not give so much rope that they are in that defensive end of the ground. You've got a direct opponent. You've got a player you've got to stay on. So you can't be giving them 2, 3, 4, 5 metres head start on a small ground. It just doesn't work, and that's why they find themselves in this predicament at half time.
One player though for Blackburn, Scott, that hasn't done that, Christian Zalek, who's had the job on Charlie Haley. He's kept them to 1 goal. I feel he's been Blackburn's most impressive. Bar that 1 goal he conceded, he's really given him any space, and he's locking him down well in midfield and up forward.
Yeah, what a hard job, and obviously for the whole back line for Blackburn, they've done fairly well in what's being a trying situation where the pressure has just kept coming and coming, and for a backman you would hate to see it, and especially for round one, they're just thinking, oh, why is this happening? But credit to Balwyn, they're playing with some exceptional football, and they're finding the targets in forward.
But it's happening, Scott, because of the midfield battle where Balwyn are just totally on top. Guys like Bowen Smith, Alex Urban, they're just two of the guys, examples that are just taking that bit between the teeth and getting the ball out straight away. We know Goebbels has played such a great game, started at half-back, has gone up towards the forward line, creating a lot of problems. The flexibility and the rotation of players that Brenton Sanderson's been able to do, moving the players around, and he's really causing problems. And we go, Charlie Haley's spending time through the midfield as well. So that diversity and flexibility that they've got at every end of the ground is really creating so many problems. I just like Blackburn to work the angles a little bit more, take a little bit more risk in their game, but also be a bit more tidier, be a bit more cleaner, be a bit more daring as well. And that means getting your numbers across, get the numbers back, and start to believe that you can run the ball a little bit more efficiently and get the ball in a little bit quicker. I think they're moving the ball far too slow.
Yeah, and that's a problem as well, Matt, for Blackburn's forward line, which doesn't really have any tools. When you're throwing Max on down at the forward line, that's a bit of a problem.
It's I sort of agree with Spider. Balwyn are playing on instinct, so they're definitely like a lot of go forward. As soon as they get the ball, Balwyn are sort of just going forward. They know where people are going to be. They look like they've got good synergy. Everyone seems to know where they're going to be. Blake pointed out Jeff Goebbels is sort of, as soon as basically Blackburn get any possession across the half-back line, Goebbels, because he's not the big dog anymore, you got Walker and Lyle, he can sit behind the ball, so that gives them more. With Pendlebury down there, there's so much poise. And I agree with Spider a little bit about Blackburn, just in the terms of like the pace they're moving the ball. They look like they're trying to be perfect, and just taking that half a second longer to make decisions, and that's allowing Balwyn to either put pressure on them, or if it's a mark, get numbers behind the footy. And as we've seen, Balwyn, especially at Cherry Road, it only takes you 3 kicks to get from one end to the other. So, yeah, Blackburn probably just have to back themselves a bit more. It doesn't, like, the actual game plan might not have to change, but just back your instinct and as hard as it is, not second-guess yourself when you're 6 or 7 goals down. But they've actually, like you said as well, and like Scott said, Blackburn have shown some signs. It's just that little bit of cutting edge. And speaking to a few Balwyn people on my way to get a coffee, they're pretty confident with their list this year. So, given we all think Blackburn are probably a middle-of-the-road side this year, and Balwyn are pretty confident, this is pretty expected, I would say. The rain looks like it's not going to come, touch wood. So
it's all off, isn't it?
I think Blackburn are still half a show, but everything would have to go right. But they're pretty young too. I went to the huddle, Scott. You were at the Blackburn huddle.
Yep.
It's a young team, isn't it?
It's a very, very young side, and disappointing in that second quarter. Obviously, we said they were 4 goals down at the end of first quarter. Now 7. So they're just really struggling to find that forward mark, and that's something that they'll look at in the
bigger
coming
bodies.
weeks.
It's bigger bodies, isn't it? And that's the reality too. And Matty, we said it before. You have bigger bodies. I mean, we're looking at an AFL experienced player in Josh Walker, who's played a lot of footy, coming up against some really young and inexperienced players. I mean, just that knowing where to run, knowing the space to go into, knowing the exact moment to move, make the lead. You know that moment, okay? You hold back to lead, and then you work into that corridor. So I think that's the real positive for Ball. And for Blackburn, they've just got to be a little bit more concentrating on the positives in this second half. What can they best do to get something out of this?
It's a hard one for Blackburn too, because you obviously want to win every game, but you don't know how good a yardstick Balwyn are. Balwyn may end up being the best team in the comp, and Blackburn might finish 6th, and they're just, it's hard, but it's a sort of hard thing. We're talking as if they're teams that are so evenly matched. It's only round 1. You have no idea, Scott, how good either team are.
And we might find out next week, because Balwyn have Rovals, so that's really where where it's going to match.
Yeah, but in terms of Blackburn, and teams are obviously going to need probably 2 or 3 really good lockdown defenders when you play Balwyn, because Michael Dunn's actually played quite well for Blackburn. Yep. But if he's on one of them, I think he's playing on Lyle.
I think it's Tyler Faulkner who's playing.
Oh, is it? Well, whoever Dunn's on, he's keeping quiet, and then they swap Dunn, and then the other one of the Twin Towers gets off the chain.
Yeah, I think Michael Dunn did get. I think Michael Dunn did get the job on
Josh Walker.
And then they swapped him or something, yeah.
Yeah, I think they have made that move because at one point he was standing next to him, and I think there was a little bit of reluctance for him to go back. He's like, "Yes, me again," and so from
they
that
need
point,
two of him.
Yeah.
Not many times you say I need two Michael Dunns.
And I think for Blackburn, Baker is showing some signs. I just would like him to clunk a few more marks. He has that capacity. He's getting to some of the contests, and some of his work is good around the ground, but he just, for me, just got to be a bit more composed, and he's got to really get himself into the game, and when he gets those opportunities. Harry's doing okay, but Anderson we know is a good player. So
as that siren was our signal to hurry up for the halftime show. We'll take a break. Well, we've got one more minute left on the halftime break as Matt Fodier departs.
He's done. He's like, done.
I'm done and dusted.
Mic drop. I'm out.
But what's the what do you hope for Blackburn in this second half? A competitive performance or getting back into the game?
Well, it's just about being competitive in this second half. I mean, if they're good enough, they'll get back into the game. I just get a feeling though, ball when the floodgates are going to open. If they get on top in the first 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to see quite a big margin. I'm just not sure that Blackburn's going to be able to run the whole 4 quarters out with them.
Scott, what's your expectation for that?
Yeah, they're just got to try and match it and keep that margin, not to a blowout.
Yeah, and we're going to quickly go to another break here. When we return, the second half of the Eastland match of the round between Balwyn and Blackburn, which sees Balwyn leading by 43 points.
Hi, I'm Ben Desson from Montrose Football Netball Club, and when I need a new kit for a night out, I head over to Eastland. But Eastland is more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been major partners of the Eastern Football Netball League since 2018. Thanks, Eastland.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
The first time I met the team at Tobin Brothers Funerals, I felt like I'd known them for years. They're so caring, honest and passionate. James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals, sums it up best when he says,
Every day our people get out of bed to assist client families in their absolute time of need. Our people love what they do, and you will not find a more highly trained group of people than those at Tobin Brothers.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported. Available at boobarmour.com.au.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season. Bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to the EFNL Matchday coverage. It's Balwyn hosting Blackburn on Good Friday, and it's all Balwyn first half. Balwyn 9-4-58 leading Blackburn 2-3-15. Both sides are back on Balwyn Park, and it's going to be a big first 10 minutes for Blackburn to see if they can get themselves back in the contest, firstly, and then let's hope for a greater contest. It's not that they're not trying. It's Gavin Casey, Ryan Long in commentary with Wayne Brasher and Blake Tennant. Boys in special comments. It's not like Blackburn aren't trying. They're just not doing anything when they've got it.
Yeah, they just can't get their hand. When they do get their hands on the pill, Gav, they're either turning it over or they're kicking it to, where Balwyn are just dominating the stoppages and clearances. There's 2, 3, 4 on 1, and it's hard to get insight or find space when it seems like that Balwyn just have constant numbers at whatever contest you're seeing downfield.
Yeah, what I've seen about two to three contests where it's just been yellow and black, where there hasn't been any red and black down the other end. And I think there was an example where they got out, and I thought that Blackburn were really lucky to get out of one play. So again, I think they've just got to find goals. I think they need the first 2 goals to slowly get back into this game, or it could get really ugly if they don't get onto that.
I think young Harry, I just think that he might, I'd like to see him just change his ruck style just a little bit. Instead of trying to go body on body with Anderson, because I think that suits Anderson's style of play, I'd like to see him jump a little bit, ball, and maybe hit the ball maybe further down to, and in the hope that some of Blackburn's runners can run onto some of his ruck work.
And I notice Haley's in the middle. Zalek's done a great job. Or is it Balwyn? They've got Walker and they've got Lyle. Not muck around, just go straight to them. Walker's kicked 4, Lyle's kicked 2 in the first half. Here we go, third term at Balwyn Park. Anderson wins the tap. Ground level ball won by Cross. Gets the kick forward inside 50. Ground level ball by Sticker. He can't keep control of it. Throwing himself at the ball is Stevenson. And the umpire will say it's a ball up, centre forward for Balwyn. First attack of the third term. So that's no answer for Walker. 4 goals done, having a hard time. Lyle's getting his opportunities with 2. Again, Cross gets it out of a tight contest. Goebbels runs onto it, takes a handball receive. He's kicks it up and under as he's tackled when kicking the ball. 30 out, ground level ball. Can Balwyn make something of this? Cross receives a hand pass, goes to the point off centre forward. Anderson kicks it to the goal square. Now 2 on 2. Walker's the first to rebound off the marking contest, and he snaps it from the top of the goal square for his 5th. And Walker, 5 goals for his first game for Balwyn, and it's getting to blowout territory. 64 plays 15 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Goal of the day there for Josh Walker. That was a
Tobin
brilliant
Brothers
snap.
goal of the day.
Tobin Brothers, excellent goal of the day there for Josh Walker. Once again, they hunted the ball once again, Balwyn, and capitalised on a Blackburn turnover.
Absolutely. So ball back in the midfield for the ball up. 10-4-64 to 2-3-15 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's been a big effort by the Tigers. Again, the ruck won by Balwyn. Ball doesn't go too far though. Cunningham's there. Blackburn need the centre clearance. They're struggling. Harry the handball out to Oglethorpe, and this is much better. They get inside 50. Out the back though, Pendlebury, strong hands, takes the marks and plays on immediately, kicking towards the wing, looking for the boundary line as it rolls out. But that's just how reliable he is down there, that you just know he can fly in from behind and take a strong mark. So hard to match up on. This ball brought back into play. Anderson grabs it out of the ruck, handballs it out to Cross, and they'll kick it towards the broadcast wing. Who can run onto it first? Should be Blackburn. They've got a couple of numbers here, so they'll clean up and they'll go inside 50 over the top of Hart's head and will bounce out of bounds for a boundary throw in right in front of us. Sitting up here on the balcony on this Good Friday clash between 2 great Premier Division clubs. But at the moment, it's been all Balwyn. It's a ball about to be brought back into play. They lead by 49 points in the opening minutes of this third term. Socket off the ruck contest there.
Almost came up to the commentary box.
It almost did. You're right, Paul, as Anderson has a bit of a laugh about it. Out of bounds on the full, obviously, is giving a chance of Blackburn. And the captain here looking like he'll take a shot.
Yeah, and he should take the shot, because they're going to try and make Balwyn pay for whatever mistake they do. And it's going to be this is a very difficult shot.
Oh, it is.
It's not an easy shot.
He's standing in the interchange for the ball, and
And the wind will take this across the goals.
Let's see what he can do. Kicked a good goal in the second quarter. This one's not a bad kick. It's there. And there might be your Tobin Brothers goal today.
Has to be.
The captain's goal. Paddy Lawler gets his second, and Blackburn get their third, 3-3-21 to the Balwyn Footy Club, 10-4-64. 3.5 minutes gone in the third quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
The Lawler is doing everything he can to start it again. You know, he started it again in the second quarter, and he's done it again now. But he needs more contributors to help this, Blackburn getting in front. You know, I touched on it before this quarter started, and they just need to keep going. They need to keep pedaling through, and eventually the game will get closer. I don't know what it's going to be like, but Blackburn are really starting this quarter well.
Lawler used a bit of right to left of the light breeze to get that from the boundary side to kick a goal as Blackburn tried to go again, but it's Rid mopping up, dodging around not only players but shadows, and he kicks it long to half forward. Mark chopping in the contest will be a free kick to Blackburn's defender. So short pass, it's going into stretching mark by the centre half-back player. So Blackburn holding on to the ball. Next possession's vital. They might have to go out wider and just across ground. Panthers holding up nicely. Long kick to Harry. He gets underneath it, and Cross takes a chest mark at the back of that marking contest. So in half-back, Cross has got a short inboard. Well, it's Oglethorpe underneath it. Couldn't stretch his hand out for a ball. McCoskey hands it off to Haley. Haley dodges one, dodges two, runs himself into trouble. Has to be holding the ball, but I do want to see him try again next time because that was slalom at its best by Haley. And it's a free kick.
And the kick to mark obviously just had to be perfect in it, and exactly took the mark. But unfortunately, they weren't able to make the most of it. As Blackburn now through Big Jager will look to go inside 50 to Lawler. Mark dropped. Ball hits the ground right there. On top of him is Cunningham, who wraps it up. Ball able to get out though. Reed, quick hands out to a man on the right, and he'll go inside 50. It's a one-on-one contest out the back again. Pendlebury hold to mark. That's about the third big contested grab that he's done back on the last line of defence. And he'll look to clear it out for the Tigers. Towards a Walker direction, mark not taken. Ball hits the ground, he'll soccer it forward towards the boundary line. Blackburn should be able to stop it though. And they'll again send it inside 50. Haven't been able to take a mark here though. And it's all Balwyn again. Pendlebury's out the back. Couldn't quite pick it up cleanly. He's jumped onto his back there by Hart, but no decision. Paul Uconi, Stat Centre for car sales.
Balwyn have already taken 3 intercept marks this quarter, so they've stopped about 1 or 2 goals here for Blackburn, I reckon.
So here's Cunningham, taken out by Urban.
Oh.
Tried to get his handball off to Anderson. The big fella was tackled. No holding the ball call. Just a ball up instead.
Just an
Still
injury.
inside 50 for Blackburn.
Just an injury concern. I think number 16, Lewis Cunningham, just coming off the ground. If we can get the boundary reporters to just see what was up there. I'm not sure what it was, but yeah.
Blackburn's forward, and Majaya tried to get a sliding tackle over the shoulder free kick, but it's a drifted kick out that's taken by Britton. Britton goes long to centre forward. Lyle's in back position, never in the contest, so Blackburn numbers behind the ball take the mark. What can they do? They'll have to run it from half-back, and they do. Long ball, one against a few. Pendlebury in good position, allows his defender, Godleafson, to help him. Pendlebury gets onto the ball again and gives it to Rid, and Rid looks into the corridor as they go straight from defence into an attacking opportunity. Blackburn got some numbers in the middle of Balwyn Park, but they can't get their hands on the ball. Rid's there to help out in the hot contest, and now hands it off to Wise. Wise on the outer wing. His ball doesn't go to where he directed it, well, hoped to direct it, and it's out on the full outer side of Balwyn Park.
Blackburn last couple of minutes have been pretty good. This is what we want to see from Blackburn, and it's really been solid.
So they'll go from half back, a long ball. Baker's underneath it. Anderson planted himself there, but he's got some man judging it well in Pollux to drift in to take the mark. Defensive 50. His short pass, well, it's dangerous, but it's spot on. So Wheaton has no trouble, but he has to go behind his man on the mark to think about options. He's a bit tired from running to be an option, is Wheaton. So his short pass to half-back Giaff, put in good position, but drifting in from the side is Anderson to keep the ball in the Tigers' hands. So Anderson, the taller player in the contest, now called to play on. Hand passes over the man on the mark who charges at him. So trying to get it out is Britton. Britton gets it underhands and and now has to go to knees to pick it up, but he does get it off to Britton. Lyle on the lead, takes it at centre forward. He's got options galore, has time to think about it. Hand passes in board to Wise. Wise loads up from 50, goes to the right post, but misses right side. It does Wise. Another minor score let off for Blackburn. Let's just read the score before we go boundary side. It's Balwyn 10-6, 66, leading Blackburn 3-3, 21. 8 minutes third term. Josh, I think you're boundary side for more comment.
Yeah, so Lewis Cunningham, they're checking it out now, but he looks like he's up off the bench. But a big blow for Balwyn. Bowen Smith, ankle injury, he's out for the rest of the game.
That's a big out there, but they do have a really commanding lead. Lead by 44 points as the mark taken, I believe, by Pollux. Joshua Pollux plays on immediately, hand passes it off to his teammate running by, goes inside 50. Ball hits the ground, Dorian's there for Blackburn. And both players are happy to let that roll out of bounds. So we'll get a boundary throw in on that forward 50 arc. Down at Balwyn's forward 50 end. A really handy lead at the moment on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Ball brought back into play. Lyle almost grabbed it out of the ruck. Blackburn have got some numbers through Heaton. And the kick out is just going to be a turnover if the mark can be taken here by Britton. Not quite though, so Blackburn are able to send it forward themselves in the direction of a teammate there in Tassel. But again, Balwyn just have the numbers behind the blind play to be able to wrap it up. But just stolen out of the hands inside 50 now for Blackburn. One-on-one, gets his kick off there, did Baker, but it was no good. Rushed and just a minor score, 3-4-22 to 10-5, 65. 10 minutes gone in the third quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Better movement there by Blackburn. I think their last 10 minutes have definitely stopped Balwyn from scoring this quarter.
Britton just hits up Rid as the zone defence nearly gets it back to Blackburn, but Rid's got time to settle and look at options further afield from half back. Cherry Road side of the outer wing does go the ball. Blackburn in good position, and the ruckman there, Harry, takes a mark low to the ground. He wheels onto the right foot, puts it inside 50. Underneath it's Baker. He's got a lot on his back as the tackle flies in, and it's a holding the man decision. They'll go to Blackburn, so all the aggression Balwyn had in the contest has been misdirected, and now Bartlett will take the free kick. As acute an angle he can get here at the Balwyn Park. Maybe he can hang it to the goal line and draw it back with that right to left wind. Slight breeze going across goal, but Bartlett's just worried about the boundary line fence behind him.
Could be that Pythagoras theorem needing to come back into play here, Gav.
Well, he puts it 3 metres and it's drifting, and he's done the great mathematics because it's a goal, and the calculus or the whatever the mathematics are means it's a goal to Bartlett. Bartlett kicks his first goal, and Blackburn 4-4-28, making a goal out of nothing, trailing still by 37, 11 minutes gone, third term.
Probably kicked two of the best goals in the match, Blackburn. They still find themselves 37 points down, Ryan.
Absolutely. Well, they stay in it. 37 points, maybe not stay in it, but they're keeping up. They don't want to be belted in first round, as we talked about percentage-wise at the start of the show.
They're definitely playing some more productive footy than the last two quarters that they've shown. The momentum's going their way at the moment.
Tackle there by Jyth, got him high, so it'll be a free kick to Balwyn in the middle of the ground. As though Van Drill, a late emergency coming into the side, kicks it towards his target in Lyle, couldn't take the mark. Can Blackburn get something off the transition? Tackle there was Answorth, wraps up Wise, and we'll get a ball up right in front of the Eastland sign. The Eastland match of the round. First Premier Division game of the season for 2023. And another tackle doesn't go rewarded as Balwyn get a kick out to Dorian. He's under pressure, just gets his kick to ball. Handballs off to Harry, to Jyth. I've got some numbers out in the wing. Well done there by Reed. Goes inbound to the corridor. Got a fly there. Stevenson from Balwyn was in the right position, but Blackburn did well as they go forward themselves. Cut off by Pendlebury. Gets his handball off to a teammate. They're under a bit of pressure. Cut off now by Hart. Oglethorpe. They've got players out. He'll kick it towards goal. and it's going to be too far right, and that might be out of bounds on the full.
That's behind.
And just a behind, sneaks in for a behind. So 4-5-29 Blackburn to 10-5-65 Balwyn. 13.5 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Wrong option there. If you're going to blaze away, you might as well look at a hand pass over the top, or just see if you can keep it open for a better kick out. Britton takes the kick out by running his 20 metres from the goal line, and his kick is marked by Blackburn. Hart in good position.
I think that might be Zalik.
Zalik, is it? So Zalik on Haley. Haley stands the mark. Zalik, long ball in. Baker, hopeful 1v2. Pendlebury with the spoil comes in over the top. Oglethorpe wrestles his way to get it to Geoff. Gets it to Layla. He's beset upon, and it's going to be a ball up in the pocket as we get more stats with Paul.
Blackburn are peppering the goals in this third quarter. They've kicked 2 goals, 3 so far to 1 goal 1, and they've recorded 10 inside 50s to 2.
From the Carsales Stats Centre, Balwyn get it outside 50. Do run onto it with Goebbels, but he runs in a heap of trouble, and it's going to be a ball up just outside of the forward arc for Blackburn.
I think one of the things is too, it's always hard in this type of contest to maintain your dominance throughout the game. You know that the opposition are going to have their moments where they're going to influence the contest. This is Blackburn's time now.
Oglethorpe jumped into the contest. It gets the ball under the boot. It's high up and under. It actually goes backwards in territory. Nearly a mark for Blackburn. Haley's gets the ball at ground level. He's kicked the centre forward. He's overcooked. Can Blackburn hold up in defence? They try to get some numbers forward. So this time it's a 2-on-2 contest. And I think Blackburn are happy that Haley's kick missed the target, and they'll have a 50-50 ball up at centre half back.
Just that last play when Blackburn tried to get into their forward line, just another, they didn't have their clear mindset to kick it because they had a teammate out there. So a bit of a burning the teammate there.
So Sam Hart goes towards the wing, and a free kick awarded here, going the direction of Balwyn, I believe.
Yeah, frontal push in the marking contest.
The Red Army wasn't happy about that one.
They have come in flocks here today as Urban goes forward, looking for a mark, big from behind, and that's Harry.
He's played well, Harry.
He certainly has.
He's really hard.
The youngster takes a strong mark, goes back, and Giath now, deep in Balwyn's forward 50, waits for his next target. Might come back to the broadcast side, a short chip, as they look to go through Zalik.
Ooh.
And hits up Reed, almost taken a bit high from Haley coming in late, but he'll have a chance to send it out of their back 50, but the kick is too far right, and that's out of bounds on the full, so Balwyn will have a chance to re-enter the 50 through Van Driel.
6 possessions, and they end up turning it over.
So here they go, short darting kick. Doesn't really hit any target. Reed just bombs it out, looking for his man, and punched away there by Gottliebsen, out of bounds, right in front of the crowd of red.
They definitely like to come out, Blackburn.
They travel well, don't they?
They're very well supported club, Blackburn. Very well supported.
So many numbers from junior level right up to the seniors as the ball brought back into play. Paddy Lawless here, the first one at ground level, gets his handball out to Reed. He again throws it on the boot. Pendlebury's down there for Balwyn, but grabbing it there was Odden. Max Odden shrugs off an opponent, puts the ball on the boot, and it is too far left, out of bounds on the full, no score.
I think the umpires have been a bit lenient this
No,
afternoon.
I reckon that was good, because I reckon there's a gentle hand, and Otten, you could just tell he was going to break the tackle. I know it seems unfair to give him more time, but it just looked like they really didn't suspend him from going forward. As we'll just follow the play before we go to the stats centre, and there's a push out. It'll go the way of Blackburn, so they'll get another inside 50. So add that to your book, Paul. We'll wait on the kick, though, to be sure. As now the loaded ball goes long. Can Baker get a flight at it? He tries to body himself into position, and the numbers on the last line hold up for Pollux to take the mark, and his short kick finds Hicks in the other back pocket. So Hicks now surveys options as he looks to keep control, slow it down, because Blackburn have got some momentum in the contest, especially when you kick it out in the full and give it back to them.
Well, speaking of the free kick counts, it's been very even, but the umpiring has been good so far in this game. It's 12 free kicks to 11 in favour of Balwyn.
I'll make that 13. Charlie Haley awarded the free kick here down at half back against Otten. His short kick finds his target in Stevenson as they look to slow things down. They don't need a rush. They do have a very handy 36-point lead on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. The short chip there finds Britton, and he'll switch the play out wide. Mark taken on the far side, and again they'll look just to slow things down. Chris Pendlebury has been a star today, as he has his entire career. He's been the general down back. Goes towards the wing on the far side. Goebbels is down there. And again, they're happy to just let that roll out of bounds. We'll go to Paul Uconi in the Car Sales Stats Centre.
In the inside 50s this quarter, Blackburn lead at 13-3, but I felt the last 4 or 5 minutes, Balwyn is starting to get momentum back onto their terms by slowing the game down.
Certainly. They just don't seem to have those targets up forward where Balwyn Duke, they can afford to just bomb it in there. There's a short kick into the middle of the ground. No one can really get a clean pick up. Sticker does, and he's tackled right away and will get a ball up and another stoppage in the middle of the ground.
Yeah, that's where I thought he could have been penalised because he's already gone through the 360.
Ball in the middle, Balwyn Park again. It's Balwyn winning it out of the ruck contest. Haley at ground level, goes left, then looks right with the kick and half forward, and the man underneath it takes a great mark, and it's the legend of Balwyn, Goebbels, who takes it 50 metres out, the skipper. You'd say he's got the distance in him, but he puts it top of the goal square, allows the forwards to run at it, but in defence, nice mark taken by Ainsworth last line, and he holds up for Blackburn. They trail by 36, and they seem more evenly in the contest, and their skills around the ground is picking up in this third term, except for the time they kick it straight back to Goebbels. So try to give us someone a rap, and they let you down.
Don't you hate that when they make a liar of you, Gav?
Well, it was always going to happen at the way the pattern's working. It's Goebbels short passing it to Lyle, and Lyle, who looks for his third goal, might just... He hands it off to Haley. Haley from 50 metres out, right flank, drifting left, won't even make the distance. Walker nearly marks it on the goal line. He drops it. He's probably shocked it even got to him. Now the kick out was sort of like a half volley kick out by Blackburn. Fortunately, Lions into their hands, and they'll keep it in hand to Blackburn in defence. So they're just holding on by the skin of the teeth, Blackburn. 6 goals the difference, but they're getting more ball, Blackburn. It's now, again, another mark taken on the wing. Inboard kick. Runners going from back into the centre corridor. Now long ball as Otten, no, they're going to ignore Otten for now. Running with the line of the ball is Hart. Gets it over to Otten, got some space, should look at the goals. He thinks about it, thinks too long, puts himself under pressure, and the ball's still in. Bounced on the line, bounces back in. Jeff, great tackle. And it holds up for another attack for Blackburn, and they did everything but not score, and they'll have another try at doing so. Otten just gallops towards the ball. Ruck contest, he gets barreled over. He doesn't look match fit, does Otten, and it was knocked over by Van Driel, and it's a minor score conceded by Balwyn. It's 66 playing 30, 36-point lead, 65 playing 30, 35-point lead for the Tigers. Blake, special comments?
Yeah, just what I saw then. It was just, again, they're not clearing. You've got to use the eyes. They're not lowering the eyes. I reckon there was about three players from Blackburn that were open and out. And again, Otten just had to shepherd there. He just had to shepherd.
The dangerous kick here to Oglethorpe did well. And they'll look to send it inside 50 once more. They've dominated that this quarter, and finds his target in Reed, and he can go back and have a set shot if he's confident enough. Doesn't look like it though. He wanted to pass, but...
He's had a few touches this quarter, Reed. He's worked his way into the contest.
Certainly has. Still doesn't look like he wants to take the shot.
No.
But they haven't been able to take many marks inside 50, so loads up on the right, and it is out of bounds on the full. So
I worked out why I didn't want to have a shot.
That would be wide.
Balwyn well defended there as well. There was about 2 loose players from Blackburn. They were open, but Balwyn really well defended there.
Yeah, it's one thing that probably we've talked a lot about their forward line, but their back 6 is just as strong. The kick, though, out. Again, that's Reed who takes the mark. He'll go inside 50. Oglethorpe's the short option. Doesn't choose to go over that. Over the back. Not quite. Snapped on the boot there. Puts through
Sammy
a
Hart.
goal. Sammy Hart. And that's a very important one for Blackburn. They're back in this game a little bit. That's 5-6-36. The Burners trail the Tigers 10-5-65. 23 minutes gone in the third quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Brash, they needed a bit of reward for their effort this quarter, and they finally get it.
But that's exactly where you want your small players, front and square, picking up or even one at the front, one at the back, and Hart picked the right position. The ball came down off from the crumbs, and he managed to put on a very good snap for goal.
And he might win Tobin Brothers' goal of the day just because he took it and then kicked it. So from that urgency, that's a really good skills execution by Hart there. And maybe there's some heart in the contest for Blackburn. They try to get another centre clearance. They do so. Otten will run onto it. He's got his man beaten, but he just tries to take it with one hand. It'll come out to him again on the flank. He tries to bulldoze his way in and passes off to the runner. And here come the Panthers! A small run, and it's Hart with a double within a minute. Wow, we're hopeful for a contest, so we're calling it early, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's Blackburn 6-6-42, trailing Balwyn 10-5-65.
Yeah, look, Max Otten's trying to impose his authority in strength in this forward 50 contest, and he's
been a great move for him to put him up forward.
They've done well so far. He's certainly busted open the tackles and given some opportunities to the runners of Blackburn.
Paul Uconi, stat centre for Carstales.
I said earlier in the quarter that Blackburn were peppering the inside 50s and peppering the goals. That's now 17 inside 50s for Blackburn this quarter to 5 of Balwyn.
And their 2 quick goals gets them within 23 points. They haven't been this close for quite a long time. Hasn't been since the first quarter, as we'll get a stoppage in the midfield. And one player who certainly stood up is Reid. Right there again in the midfield. Certainly in this quarter, Harry in the ruck gets his tap out. Here's Haley though for the ball, and he'll send them inside 50. Lyle's got 2 to beat and did very well. Takes the mark. Right position, and that's Charlie Haley in the midfield that was able to get the kick forward to him. And it's strong when you can move him around, play him in the midfield, get involved more. And this would really hurt Blackburn after it's taken some time to get themselves back in this game. If Lyle can put this through, he'll be back to a 29-point margin for the Tigers. He comes in, and it's a very high-looking kick. It's on its way. It's there. Puts it through. Lyle gets his 3rd, and the Tigers hit back with a very important goal. 11-5-71, lead Blackburn 6-6-42. 25 minutes gone in the third quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Paul Uconi.
They needed that goal because you felt Blackburn was starting to get back into the game. It's been a 4-2 goal quarter in favour of Blackburn, but then again it was a nice goal by Balwyn, and they needed it coming into 3/4 time.
Sorry, Brash, to be in the effects, Mike, but I laughed because it was the worst kick off the boot,
Yeah, that's
but it went straight enough to be a goal.
I thought it was going out in the full there for a minute.
So it's Balwyn, a relieving goal in the end for Lyle's 3rd. Kicks it out back to 35. And holding the ball as Balwyn can't get inside 50. Markowski tried to take on the tackler, then has to hand it over. So it's now Blackburn from half-back. Nice kick to Dorian, who stretches on outer wing. He's got a runner to go left. He goes at his man on the mark to get the overlap. Here's the spearing ball. Makes Baker prop, and he lets it go over the back where Pendlebury's always the mopping option. And Pendlebury knows that if he gets tackled, he's out of bounds, and that's the best option for Balwyn in defence. Let's go boundary side for boundary riders, Josh Ward.
Scott Hardy here. Thanks, boys. Just keep an eye on Goebbels. He's sort of running free on a wing position. He's matched up with Bartlett, but Bartlett's giving him plenty of room, so just keep an eye on him.
Inside 50, Crosstros tried to throw the ball on the boot, couldn't quite escape the back 50 for the Tigers. As a high free kick here is going to be awarded to Blackburn. Certainly got him high there. And a chance here for Dorian. If he wants to take the set shot, he's just on the arc with a bit of an angle.
They've really worked hard in this quarter, Blackburn. It hasn't been pretty football, but they've worked themselves back into the contest just through sheer will. And what they're doing now is they're starting to run a little bit more. The ball's starting to run for them in a little way. And now all of a sudden they're starting to reap the benefits for their hard work.
So here comes Dorian lining up from just outside the arc. Good looking kick. If it holds, just touched on the line by Pendlebury. So it'll be a minor score. Blackburn 6-7-43 at three-quarter time. Trail the Tigers 11-5-71. The goal kickers, Walker has 5 for the Tigers, 3 for Jordan Lyle, 1 for Sticker, Haley and Stevenson. For Blackburn, they started working themselves back into that game with Sam Hart's 2 goals. Paddy Lawler has 2 himself. Bartlett and Oglethorpe with 1 each. So it is Blackburn leading, it's Balwyn leading Blackburn by 28 points here at three-quarter time. When we're back, we'll be touching on hearing from the Balwyn coach for the Eastland match of the round between Blackburn and Balwyn.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, "Why yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy." And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair. Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home, at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
There's no mystery about our pricing. It is clearly displayed on our website and our app. We have staff standing by 24 hours a day, every day of the year to assist you in your absolute time of need.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Balwyn Park. Three-quarter time in round 1, first game of the year for the Premier Division of the EFNL. It's Balwyn leading the Good Friday clash 11-5-71, 28-point advantage over Blackburn 6-7-43. In fact, it was 43 points at half-time, so winning the quarter by 4-2 was Blackburn. There's potential if they can get off to a fast start in the third term, but that is a broadcaster's hope more than probably a pattern of play. But we'll go to the stats centre, and Paul Yukoni, what have you got for us?
Yeah, the stats, as we've been saying, all game been pretty even. The inside 50s, Blackburn were better that quarter. They got 18 inside 50s to 3, and they actually lead the inside 50 count, 39-31, and the intercept mark will go to boundary.
With Balwyn coach Brendan Sanderson now. Brendan, a tough quarter for the side with Blackburn really pressing hard. What you make of it?
Yeah, they really came at us that quarter. I mean, we started that first 3 or 4 minutes pretty well. Unfortunately, we're just down to 2 on the bench now, so it's going to be a good challenge for us. We've got to make sure that we play smart here and finish the game how we started it.
And with those two coming off the bench, Louis Cunningham and Bowen Smith, what changes will you make structurally to the side?
Well, we probably can't get any rotations with our defenders, unfortunately, and we've just asked our forwards our forwards will do most of the heavy lifting when it comes to work rate. But yeah, we still need speed through the midfield, so we've got a rotation there. We'll keep trying to get big Chevy Anderson off the ground when we can, but yeah, it's going to be a nice little challenge for us.
And what was the message for the boys? Just continue pressing home that advantage in this final quarter with the win? Yeah,
definitely. And I guess the message was win the game as opposed to try not to lose it.
Thank you, Brenton. Good luck for the rest of the game.
All right, thanks, mate.
Well done there by Josh Ward on the boundary side. With Brenton Sanderson, it's an interesting game here. Blackburn probably owned that third quarter, but they still trail by 28 points. Just around the grounds, Waverley Blues 73-35 against Mulgrave. Comfortable lead there, although they didn't kick a goal in that third term. But in terms of this game, it's not completely over yet, Blake.
The thing about Blackburn, what they need to do is they need to lower their eyes. I feel like they didn't do that in that third quarter. I think they had about 2 to 3 chances when they could have easily lowered their eyes and hit up the full forward or even the pocket. And, you know, a couple missed opportunities. They've got to take their opportunities this quarter, Blackburn, if they want to win. They kicked 4 goals that quarter, so they are capable of doing what they could do last quarter. I don't think this game will be over until after the 15-minute mark, I reckon.
I think Blackburn, they need to get the first 3 goals. They need to get the first 3 goals of this last quarter to get back into the game. Let's go to the boundary.
Yeah, just quickly, boys, from Brendan Allen, totally different from the first quarter. Everyone was really up and about, and they've got a really big belief that they can win this game. They feel like they're running a lot better than Balwyn, and that's the message from Brendan, was just the run. Obviously, keep working and keep that attitude up. Back to you, boys.
Thanks, Scott.
I think he's right there, Brendan Allen. I thought that they did start to run on top of the ground a little bit, Blackburn, and they were starting to get reward for effort. Yes, the opening 5 minutes will be important. They need to kick the opening couple of goals, and they really do need to run so they can expose the lack of rotations that Balwyn have got.
Big last quarter, Blackburn getting themselves back into the contest, but the scoreboard reads handsomely for Balwyn. They lead by 28 points going into this fourth quarter. Urban applies a tackle after trying to get possession, so it's going to be a secondary ball up in this fourth quarter. Is there a prediction from any of you guys that this could go down to the wire?
No.
Not sure, but it's just a quick one as well. Sorry as well. Looks like Kieran Hubba has got the job on Charlie Haley this quarter.
Hubba. As we'll move on really quickly.
And so it should.
Wasn't me worst. But anyway, it's Urban at ground level, gets it going sideways. So Dorian might pick it up. He's paddled in front of himself 3 times, and the boundary will beat him before he picks it up and goes for a further gallop.
Didn't mind that joke there, Gav.
Thank you, mate.
It's all right, mate.
Yeah, I was chewing on that for a bit. But it's a ball in for its advantage Blackburn. Chevy though works his body nicely, hands it off to the runner. Can't get going forward Hicks, but he's using Urban. Hicks again, and it's now a quick flying kick where underneath it is Wise. He's usually Wise with the handle, hands it off to another runner. Walker in back position, has to go the spoil, so Dunn's in good position. He spoons it to the boundary line. If it was a higher level, it'll be a penalty against, but it's not. It's local footy, and we're happy to be at Balwyn Park to watch these 2 great clubs go at it, and it's a ball in 45 metres out from Balwyn's goal. So it's Lyle late to the contest, allows Baker to sort of get underneath it. He applies the tackle, Baker, to Urban. Baker might pick himself up with the ball. It's got stuck under his feet. Trying to get a kick forward was Sticker. It only went 3 metres because there's a lot of bodies in the way. It's Wise throwing it up, and now Walker, he does some good body work. Can he put his foot to the ball as it goes off the marking contest that he had with Dunn? But the defence were there to make sure it got tapped over the line. Only a minor score conceded. Balwyn 72, leading Blackburn 43.
So, taking the kick out here. Hart finds his target in Dorian. Slow to exit their back 50. Goes down the line. Big pack of players punched away. Ball hits the ground, trying to take it on there. They've got some numbers through Hicks. Goes inbound. They look to try and get inside 50 here. Reed tackled straight away there by Hicks and brought to the ground. Just the 3 minutes gone in this final term. It is Balwyn leading by 29 points, probably one goal away from officially ending any sight of a Blackburn comeback. The kick in here had to be a good one. Jai took the mark in front of Goebbels. And he'll look to switch the play onto the far side. They've got some players out. Here's Faulkner. Handballed it out to Lawler. He'll go inside 50, looking for a target. Punched away there by Britton towards the boundary line and out of bounds. And that's just been their issue. They haven't been able to take the marks inside forward 50, and it's where they've struggled.
Now they're going to have to take a few risks, Blackburn, and the thing is, with risk comes great reward, but with great reward can also come big turnovers.
You're right, but they do just have to take it on. Harry and Anderson in the ruck there. As the ball just goes down to the boundary, it'll be another throw-in again. Thanks for joining us today for some good Friday footy out at Balwyn Park here, wherever you're listening from, streaming live on Facebook or YouTube. Also, Radio Eastern 98.1 FM. We thank them for their partnership in this 2023 season. As the ball is brought back into play inside 50 for Blackburn. Balwyn have some numbers here. They should be able to clear it out despite a bit of an injury midfield at the moment. Ball kicked to Lyle. Did well, but he handballed out to space. Couldn't quite hit a target at all, as Blackburn will look to try and control the situation here. The tackle by Urban will lead to another ball up. Almost 5 minutes gone in this final term. Blackburn need a quick one.
Lyle was at a disservice there. He had the player there and he disappeared on him. So the hand pass couldn't hit the mark. So Blackburn do take advantage from centre wing, but it's a hotly contested. And I reckon Balwyn understand the status of the game. Not that the next goal will make them very nervous, but they're not in the ascendancy at the moment. So from the back of the pack, Blackburn do get it to centre forward. Underneath it, Harry couldn't keep his body position. He's got Geoff there to help out. He goes in multiple times. He can't get a clear possession though, and Harry is now wrapped up in a tackle at centre forward.
The one thing that Blackburn have been able to do in the second half is been able to get some 50-50 wins in their contests.
So Harry trying to get on top of Anderson. He does win a punch forward. Red leaves it behind at ground level, and Layla couldn't get it to advantage. It's a throw from the tackle being applied, so it's a free kick going the way of ball. And as Lawless, he's done some really good efforts at goal to keep a sniff for Blackburn. Lyle from behind, because he's behind, he couldn't claim the mark in with four hands on the ball. Jeff becomes the tackler. Spilt ball means Blackburn might be an opportunity. It's centre wing. It's bobbling around. Markosvi spoons a hand pass up. Quick kick by Balwyn inside. Haley has to go the spoil on Zalek. Dunn's there to help Zalek, but he's wrapped up in a tackle, and that was a fine tackle by Walker. Kicked 5 goals, but he can apply the defensive axe. A very accomplished defender at North Melbourne, wasn't he, actually, by the end, Walker?
He was.
So Walker will go the ruck contest. Harry, a slighter man, but does win the contest. He gets it ground level where Hubber, high under, up and under. Oglethorpe goes for the mark. Ground level, Britton takes the ball. Kick touched off the boot, so no mark. Had probably put the ball and player on. The shouts of, because then he had to think, what do I do next if I grab it? And Blackburn do hold up in defence with Hinkley grabbing the ball and handing it to the umpire. So underneath at that time was Quinn at centre forward. So Walker he does a nice basketball spoon off, gets the ball back somehow, tries to burst his way forward. The defence hold up nicely. Jeff's going on a gallop. He has to run around a defender to try to get it going. And as much as Stevenson was happy to tackle him, Geoff, that was a good effort, I reckon, just to try to get free of the space. But he couldn't really get beyond Stevenson, so it's a ball out of bounds. So Blackburn won't mind that. They hold up for now. Chevy Anderson claims it out of the ruck contest. Lyle's in defence. He manhandled his opponent, and eventually he was the last man standing to take the mark 20 metres out. So Hinkley was caught underneath. Lyle just ragdolled him in a minor way, out of the way, and it's Lyle kicking for his fourth.
That was well done by Anderson in the ruck, though, to set up that opportunity. He outmanoeuvred his opponent very nicely there.
So it's Lyle looking to kick his fourth. It might be an early sealer. 7 minutes gone, a final quarter. He's hooked it. He's got the propensity to boot it too hard and pull it to the left as a result. That's the second time he's done something similar. It's a minor score. Blackburn still in the contest. It's a 5-goal game, 8 minutes, fourth quarter.
So they stay alive. 5 goals down, as Gav just said. They go long down the line. If they can get a mark here through Harry, it would be pretty handy, but it might just come back the other way. Ball trickles down to the ground. No one can quite get a clean pick up there. There's Wise. He's tackled right away by the captain at Blackburn, and we'll get a ball up just outside Balwyn's forward 50. One more goal would absolutely seal it. Even a score here would make it pretty tough for Blackburn, as Oglethorpe tries to get out of a tackle, hand pass it out, but he's being awarded a free kick in the back there.
Lucky not to get it.
So he
agree.
He'll have a chance here. He'll play on straight away. It's a dangerous kick, almost pays off. Lawler couldn't quite take the mark, but they do well enough, and here they go. They go inside 50. One-on-one contest down there, punched away, almost socket off the ground there by Dorian, and it was smothered and brought into a tackle there by Britton. Will mean a stoppage inside 50 for Blackburn. They've really got to get a goal out of this forward 50 entry. They trail by 5 goals. 9 minutes into the last quarter. Max Hodden just throws it onto the boot. May pay off, a mark can be taken, but it's not. And Hicks couldn't quite keep it in, so we'll get a boundary throw in inside 50 for the Burners.
Max Otten's been able to throw his weight around in the second half and create some opportunities for Blackburn. I think as the season gets on, he'll be much better for the run today.
So here they go. He got the short kick out and takes the mark there by Hart. So as you said, Brash, he's been much better and finds his target. He's looking for goal number 3, Sam Hart. Puts it on the boot right away. He's kicked it. Margin back to 4 goals. 7-7-49 the Burners. The Tigers 11-7-73. Coming up to 10 minutes gone in this fourth quarter. They stay alive. 4 goals of margin.
Indeed, he is showing a lot of heart as well. So well done to them, and they're definitely coming back. They're not gonna go down.
Wondering.
Yep. So if they can just get another goal, they'll be pretty proud, and they'll definitely like to look at the replay and see what happened in that first half, because it could have got a lot uglier than what the score is now.
Blackburn are winning the clearances this quarter 5-2.
Looks like one of these classic round 1 type games again.
All the stats point to Blackburn coming into the game. Is it too late? There's time if they're good enough, said the old broadcaster. And it's now Blackburn trying to get it out of the middle, but we'll have another go at a ball up. Harry's underneath it. Anderson went against him, but position is with Ainsworth. Ainsworth spoons a little kick out wide to the half forward flank. Couldn't get the runner going, so Urban tries to work with Goebbels on the outer wing, and it goes off hands and out of bounds. And they look, well, they're dead on the feet a little. Well, perhaps.
Yeah, they're not 2 down on the boundary.
Yeah, and they're not getting clean ball. The ball's just not running for them at the moment, Balwyn.
I think if they can get some tempo footy, that's what they'll do, because really they don't have the run, and they're really hoping for turnover goals, because Blackburn have got all the ascendancy. Oglethorpe tries to kick it from 50, but it was smothered because there's a lot of players around the ball. Now trying to get the ball going was Hicks. They're under a heap of pressure. Balwyn. Blackburn are going in. Here's a big opportunity for Bajaya. He's kicked. Just rushed into the pocket, but Blackburn have actually got a lot of numbers if they can just get next hands, but they're happy to get another go at it as it's out of bounds, a forward pocket.
That was well done by Pendlebury. It was a 4-on-1 there, and he just used his experience to get a stoppage.
Pressure was really good as well then by Blackburn. Just the kick just wasn't executed well.
Here's Bajaya again. It didn't go to the rucks. They got underneath it. Bajaya couldn't take the ball with him as he ran towards goal. And it's going to be a ball up 40 metres out in the corridor. And Balwyn, they're slow to get the ball moving. The hand passes just don't have enough power to get to their teammates. Their tackles are a little bit more lethargic. Has Blackburn got enough energy? Otten's out of the pack. Last line. Of course, it's Pendlebury saving the day. And he'll be nice and steady and composed, because he knows what the game is relying on is Balwyn just to take a bit of control with possession. Now it's falling in the hands of Ma. Ma quickly gets it in forward 50 for Blackburn. Here's the tackle. It's holding the ball. They'll have another shot at goal. Don't take the kick hard. Well, he's taken it, and he's goaled! He's goaled from the pocket of Blackburn, and maybe it's game on. It's only 12 minutes gone, fourth term, and he took the risk, did Hart, but he went and kicked his fourth from the pocket. Wasn't his kick, but he said, leave it to me, boys. Blackburn back into it, 18 points down with time to go.
Jeez. Okay. Oh, sorry.
We'll go boundary side. Scott Hardy.
Looks like it had the angle of the dangle there, gentlemen.
And it's great to see Gav get up and about. You know, it's good to see as well. But
out of my chair it was.
Yeah, it's great. This is great. Good game coming in now.
Back to 3 goals of margin. Sam Hart has 4 goals. What do Balwyn have to respond? As we go boundary side, Josh Ward.
Your mind like me, like I did last week.
Well, I'll take that on, and I'll come back to you.
So here we go, Blackburn again. Reed sending it forward. They go inside 50. They've got the numbers here. They've got all the run. It's Reed again. Mark not taken over the back. Could roll out. Kept in by Jyth. And Balwyn are under a lot of pressure here to clear it. The long kick out. Haley underneath. Flies. Couldn't take the mark. What can happen here? They're going to be hurt on the turnover. We'll get a ball up just outside the arc. We've gone 14 minutes gone in this final term. You see the score that the Roos are in front. And at Good Friday, Josh Ward as Balwyn go inside 50 to Lyle. Big strong hands. Mark taken. And Lyle can look for goal number 4. And they need it. Just need to take the sting out of the game. Josh, we'll go to you in a second after Lyle's kick.
Big kick here. This is a big kick for Balwyn. They really do need this goal because Blackburn have got all the momentum here.
Well, even a score will certainly help as it's an even 3-goal margin at the moment. Jordan Lyle, it's a good-looking kick. If it holds its line, it doesn't. Too much to the left. The angle from us on the balcony tricked me there, but just a minor score, 11-9, 75 to 8-7, 55. Could be a handy point there on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
A little bit right to left, isn't there, with the breeze disadvantaging that time. The long kick out, so Blackburn, they're rolling the dice as much as they can. Lawler's kick was just flopped off the boot. So big pressure on Anderson on the wing. He gets it on the boot, and it's marked at half forward. Quick play on, not necessary. Walker's got a heap to beat, and that Dunn holds up. 2 grabs at it. He's quick to play on. They play on at all costs. Maybe they got more time than that to be rushing. So the contest, that's maybe holding the ball. The umpire said the ball possession was not holding against when it was dropped to the ground. High up and under. Great mark taken by Urban at half forward, and he'll slow it down. Walker one-on-one. He says, bring it high, bring it long, and he pushes him out. Tries to get on his right, 2 grabs at it, goes to the ground. Things aren't happening now for the Tigers in the forward line. Geoff's there to help. Walker still goes again. He can't get it to his teammate in Stevenson, and it's a ball up, 30 out from Balwyn's goal.
How good was Michael Dunn there? Just superb. Just that cool, calm, collective that you've got there by Michael Dunn. Jeez, bit of fumbling going on here by Balwyn.
As Walker takes it out of the ruck contest, Urban gets it forward of the contest. Quick fly. He's missed it. The crowd went up. The locals were happy, but the goal umpire's going to say, pipe down for the moment. It's only a minor score, but we're getting excited at the broadcast. We didn't expect to be so much riding on this last 15 minutes. 75 plays 55. Blackburn, just a small sniff as we go boundary side with Josh and Scott.
And just getting flashbacks to Premier Grand Final, we might have to think about the lights. The clouds have come over and probably only a matter of time till the rain's pouring down.
So ball kicked out into the middle of the ground. What can they do? They've just got to take the game on, Blackburn, and they'll have a chance here through Ma. He'll send it forward. Pendery's got to be good if he can get he almost gave away a free kick. They're under a lot of pressure here. They've got all the run, Blackburn, at the moment. Almost tackled for holding the ball. Ball spills out. Here's a chance for Wise to kick it clear, but it's all Blackburn numbers. One of them is Harry. The big man will send it inside 50 again. They need a mark. Ball hits the ground. Tackled right away, and we'll get a stoppage almost if the ball continues to spill out, though. And Balwyn clear it, and they're out here. Goebbels, if he can pick it up cleanly, He's got a teammate there to help him out in Rid. Picks up himself, gets around Jyth and hands it off to Rid. And his short kick there to Sticker is a good one. And he'll pass it back to Rid. He'll receive it. And he's got Lyle, but he goes over the top of his head. And Dorian for Blackburn will be able to clean it up from that back half and tackle right away. But Jager, he's caught by Stevenson, and there will be a ball up outside the forward 50 arc. This game has picked up in intensity.
That was a bone-crunching tackle there by Stevenson.
He's
then
tough.
The ball up, Lyle in the ruck, gets the front position in front of Harry. The ball unable to clear out. 18 minutes gone in this final term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's a 20-point lead to Balwyn. Charlie Halley's just going to give away a free kick there if he's not careful. Wait, I don't know. He hasn't paid it, has he yet? Or is he?
No,
he has paid the free kick. So it is a Blackburn free kick, just a bit silly.
Blood rule.
So a chance here for...
Do we have the player? Or?
We can't quite see who's down there. So he's looks to be a bit hurt. I don't know if he copped that high in the head as we go boundary side with Josh Ward.
It's Kieran Hubber who was the one that got knocked down.
So Hubber a bit slow to get up.
And boundary.
Yes, it's Scott Hardy on the boundary line.
Sorry, it's all happening down here. And while I've got you, Samuel Hart's come off with a bit of cramping. So the lead scorer at the moment's off for Blackburn.
And he has been a phenomenal in this second half. I think it's been 4 second half goals by Sam Hart.
I think Hinkley's had a really good game for Blackburn this afternoon. When they were struggling in the first half, he certainly was holding his own.
Absolutely, and we go boundary side once more.
And the rain is starting to slowly come down here.
Well, so they're going to have to be quick, Blackburn, if they are to pull off something of a miracle from where they were in the first half.
You shouldn't have counted your blessings earlier, Josh.
So Hinkley going towards the wing.
I don't think that's
Strong mark taken. Oglethorpe will send it inside 50 again for Blackburn, as they've done quite a bit in this second half. Mark not taken. Here's Charlie Haley, though. Handballed it out. He owes them one now. Passed it off. And Balwyn still under a lot of pressure. A boundary line will be their friend there. Anderson was copped high, and he's holding his lip as the umpire's paid something here. I think it might be just a ball up.
It's got a bit willing out there, hasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly has. It certainly picked up.
I like it. I like the intensity that both sides are throwing at this.
Harry just punches it forward inside 50 and tackle right away. Got Leifson in trouble. Ball up.
But the umpires have done.
I
think the umpires have done a really good job this afternoon. They've called the free kicks when they've needed to be called, and they've let the game move as well.
Snapped out of the ruck here by... free kick here has gone to Balwyn.
It's all happening, isn't it? It's all happening.
Just looking at a couple of the guys in the background. Kick up the wing. Strong mark taken. Not quite. Ball hits the ground. Balwyn just get a bit of distance as they go forward. Goebbels couldn't quite pick it up. He's pushed aside by his opponent. Now back to Dunn. He'll switch the play and take it on. The kick is a bit off for his teammate in Faulkner. As he picks it up now, goes down. Paddy Lawler's in the pack of about 3 Balwyn players. Just had to take the mark, but did well in the contest. Oglethorpe and Jyth there for Blackburn as they keep the ball going forward. Balwyn now through Red. Short kick, finds Wise. And all they have to do is just run some time off the clock here. No rush at all.
You could hear the bench from Balwyn say, hold, hold, hold. Even though when you've got so much room, the first instinct is to run. Walker's underneath it. Lyle's the rover. Tries to hand it to Walker, but that is sharked in the defensive way, and Blackburn concede an out-of-bounds defensive 50.
Well, I'll see this question, Brush. You're pretty good at the old timing. Yep. How long do you reckon this game has got?
I think we'll go around the 27, 28-minute mark. Yep. I think...
you're the best of the business with this type of job, Brush, so that's why I had to ask you.
Thank you.
I reckon that's unders. But anyway, we'll go on and we'll see when this game ends. Blackburn have maybe tried with too much urgency to get their skills on board in this rush at Balwyn, and the kick on the full means it's a free kick to Balwyn. Slow and steady they go with no real energy, but Walker's got enough energy just to run at it. Height and leap means he takes it out in the front end, and this will be, in any form, a time-wasting kick at goal that will probably seal the game for Balwyn.
Yeah, this is the show me the money moment here for Josh Walker.
He's got to take the 30 here. He's got to take it.
As Walker from the left boundary side. Kicks at the arc, high up and under. He's going to let the breeze do it for him. He's a smart player. Maybe honours for best on ground with 6 goals. Walker, welcome to Balwyn as they seal a victory in round 1. 12-9-81, leading by 26. Blackburn 8-7-55, 22 minutes gone, 4th term.
6 straight to Walker this afternoon from probably around 10 to 11 possessions, I reckon.
Yeah, he's been very influential with these touches up forward. The amount of marks inside 50 is something Blackburn would have loved to have in their forward line today. Also down at Waverley, the Waverley Blues are home 94-36, the latest update there. And North still in front by 7 points, Josh Ward, 22-15. Go the Roos.
I think as well, sorry, Brush. I was reading on the local leader thing, and I think that they've gone past the 2005 record, the Waverley Blues, so well done to Waverley.
Well done as Reid sends it inside 50 for Blackburn, punched away. Now Faulkner will send it high up towards a pack of players, punched away, snapped quickly there by Ainsworth. Didn't quite go too far as we can feel the rain starting to hit down at ground level. Balwyn will try and clear it out through Pollux. The mark almost taken by Goebbels, but it rolls out of bounds.
Blake,
for a boundary
last
throw-in.
loss, round 1, 1 point to Warrandyte.
Yep.
Went on an undefeated run for
So
the premiership.
I think it's 19 straight they've won now, Waverley Blues. So not sure what the Eastern Footy League record is for the most consecutive wins, but I'm sure we'll find that out during the next week.
I think Vermont had about 60 odd somewhere along the line there, Blake. I think there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
Still got a bit to chase down.
We'll find something.
South Belgrave had a long one too.
Yeah.
It's the casual. I think Vermont went on a bit of a run sort of comment.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll suss that out next week, I reckon.
Yep. That could be your job, Blake, as the ball brought back into play. And a tackle there by Anderson will lead to another stoppage. Coming up to 25 minutes gone in this last quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Mooroolbark had a pretty long winning run as well, didn't they? They had.
Yeah, they certainly did. As Jyth here can send it inside 50 for Blackburn up towards the top of the square. Can they get a mark? Punched away though, and into space. Dorian's there. He's got a couple to beat. Out the back here, Reid picks it up cleanly, gets his handball out of bounds, and we'll get another boundary throw in. It is Balwyn 12-9-81, that lead Blackburn 8-7-55 in 25 minutes into the last quarter. The Tigers will start their season 1-0 in an impressive first half for Blackburn. Really cut back the margin, and they'll be ruining some missed opportunities in the third quarter to make this really an interesting finish. But they'll go down, and they've got a big challenge in a couple of weeks' time when they play South Croydon as the ball bounces around on their forward 50 line. There'll be another ball up.
So there was some excitement there when Hart got his 4th goal, and it was time for Blackburn. But let's give credit to who will be the eventual winners today, Balwyn. They've held steady, composure under a lot of heat. They're just running out of legs now as a quick kick goes forward by Reid. And now big opportunity for Blackburn to add to their score, but they've left the run too late. It's been held up on the last line for Balwyn. 26 minutes gone, 4th term. Special comments from Blake.
Yeah, so the Tigers, of course, have got Roval next week. So that's another massive Premier footy game next week, in a couple of weeks' time, actually. So
Hicks has done a pretty good job in defence, handed off. Haley becomes the tackler at half back and applies it on Eppel, and it's out of bounds. So as we go towards the end of the game, Balwyn with practically not many rotations going. We heard about that at 3/4 time. So to only concede 2 goals versus 1 for themselves, they've done a pretty good job in the 4th quarter. Now the ball from centre half back Walker. He's actually the last man in attack, and he's 70 metres away for goal. So Balwyn getting the numbers back, but they still getting it forward. As now the forwards get to the goal square. Haley charging forward, so to speak, as it's now in the hands of Ainsworth, who's been tackled to the ground, and it'll be a ball up, 27 minutes gone. So Balwyn have been impressive with their, let's get some stats just to see how the game's sort of finishing off.
The tackling pressure today by both sides has been really excellent. 46 tackles to 42 in favour of Blackburn.
Right.
Well, it was a dumping tackle that's been penalised, and it'll go Balwyn's way. So this will be another inside 50 for Wise. So he's done well, half forward, midfield role. And boundary side, Scott.
Just quickly, Kieran Huber is off. He's not come back on. They're not going to patch up that head he's called it today.
There's the siren out at Balwyn Park. Balwyn defeat Blackburn in this round 1 Good Friday clash, 12-9-81 to 8-7-55.
Rash.
As I don't know if Rash picked the time there, 27 minutes and 40 seconds.
He said 27:28 and went 27.5. I reckon that's bang on.
Best in the business, Brash, with this timer. He's the best timer, I reckon.
He's seen too many local footy games to know all this. But a fantastic job by the Tigers boys, and hopefully one of the boys on the boundary can get an interview with a player here before the boys go into the room. But they've proven, especially in that first half when they had the full side, they had a couple of injuries in that second half that made things a little bit difficult. But they're certainly going to be a scary side. I believe Josh has got Josh Walker there.
I do indeed, Josh. A great performance. First up win in your first Balwyn game. How do you feel after that, mate?
Yeah, well, that's it. It's nice to get a win. We looked pretty good in the first half, and then credit to Blackburn. Their third quarter was pretty good and sort of got back in it. And for sort of 10, 15 minutes that last quarter, it was sort of game on, but boys were able to just steady and compose themselves, and thankfully they get the job done.
And 6 goals for yourself on your Balwyn debut. You must be happy with that, especially after the last couple of years playing defence in the AFL.
That's it. They asked me which end I wanted to play it, and I thought it's been a pretty tough years, the last few years down back for North, so I thought I might go half forward and try and kick some goals.
And how are you going to enjoy this this week off for ahead of your next game against Dover?
I think just rest up. It's been a bit of a pre-season, and it was a physical game today in slippery-ish conditions, so rest up and get ready to go round 2.
Well, Josh, go and enjoy the victory, mate. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well done, Josh, and you too, Josh Ward, as well, with the interview down there.
It's a Josh off.
Congratulations to the Balwyn Football Club. We'll follow the boys in there and get the song. But Brush, especially, let's talk about their first half. It was a really dominant display which set up the win, and they're going to be a really tough side to beat if they can bring that each week. Oh,
they will be, and look, that midfield in that first half, they were exceptional. They were, they were sharking the contests, but they also were hunting the ball, and that's going to be hard for a lot of sides. When you've got 3 guys that can average nearly 75, 80 possessions in that midfield, and you've got a couple of quality ruckmen and 2 quality forwards. That's going to be gold as the season progresses.
Absolutely. It's a really strong side as we head down to the Balwyn change rooms, thanks to Tobin Brothers, to hear the theme song of the Tigers.
We're from Tiger.
If they're down there yet.
It's Tiger time.
So it'll be the first time for a few of the new boys to sing the song in Brenton Sanderson's first win as senior coach of the Balwyn Football Club. I went too early, boys. They're not even ready.
I wonder if they got the Gatorade and all that, for the newbies.
Yeah, they probably will. There'll be a fair few in the circle. Walker would be one of those.
There'll probably be more in the circle than there is out the circle.
They always jump back out to the outside. They never like the attention in the middle, though. So.
There we go.
Yellow and black, Balwyn 26-point winners here at the Eastland Match of the Day. We'll be taking a break, and when we're back, we'll get another interview.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her two young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive.
Hi.
They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
We pride ourselves on being the most transparent funeral company. All pricing on goods and services are available on our website. It's all there for you to see and make very informed decisions when planning a loved one's funeral.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Oh, match of the day between Balwyn and Blackburn. It's the Tigers with a 26-point win. And down on the boundary side, I believe we've got Chris Pendlebury there with Josh Ward.
Hey, Chris, a magnificent performance. A good first up win for your side. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, it was a hard-fought win in the end. You know, these games are always traditionally hard to win, no matter if it's round 1 or round 18. So happy to get the 4 points and look forward to the rest of the season. So it was a good start.
And the second half, Blackburn came charging in that second half, and you guys, from our point of view on the boundary, really stood up. What you make of the defence in that second half when they came charging?
Yeah, we let a few front centre goals, which wasn't ideal, but to their credit, their pressure was amazing. And as I said before, it's always a hard-fought win, no matter where we are in the ladder. So, their pressure, took it up to us, and I think we responded really well and had a good win in the end.
And that forward line as well, led by Josh Walker, just another phenomenal performance. Just how much does it amaze you to have such a strong forward line?
Oh man, you look up there, you got Charlie Haley, Moose and Josh Walker. It makes the game very simple for us. Get the ball in hand and get it long and squeeze the ground as defenders. So amazing target to have, and he's going to be a huge asset for us this season.
Fellas, I'll throw it up to you. Any questions for Chris?
Well, Chris, you without a rotations, the defence had to go 6 as was. How did you find? Did you want to play tempo footy and you just couldn't get it?
Yeah, we did a little bit in the third quarter there, and we played probably a bit too slow, kicked long down the line, and they were able to get some repeat forward entries and kick a few goals. But I think, what Sando said to us, if we get an intercept, that's our time to go fast and try and hurt them on the turnover. And then if we have to slow it up, we can just take territory and play the game that way. So I think we did that pretty well.
And what about Jeff Goebbels? Because of Walker, because of Lyle, can you describe his role, or is that a hidden secret?
No, it's not a hidden secret. He's an amazing player for a long time. He can play anywhere. He can play on the wing, he can play half forward, and he went down back as a spare defender in that last quarter. So it's a tremendous asset for us. If it's, we need a spare defender behind the ball to save the game in the last 5 minutes, he was able to do that for us.
Chris, being a seasoned veteran of the Eastern Football Netball League, how was your pre-season this year, and leading up with the pre-match games and all that?
Yeah, to be honest, mate, I haven't actually done much of pre-season. I'm assistant coach at the Northern Bull Ants, so
okay.
Most of my weeks have been there. We're training at the same night at the moment, so it's required me to do a lot of stuff away from the club, just at the gym and staying fit. But I think less is more as you get a bit older. Let's just keep the body in one piece, and I ran out the game well today, so going well.
What's the most exciting thing that you can see moving forward for Balwyn this year?
I think we mentioned in the pre-game, there's a really good blend of experience and youth coming through. Whereas in our successful era a couple of years ago, we were a very old and seasoned group, and that's what us older players, we want the energy from the younger boys, and we can provide them with experience. So it's a great mix, I feel, at the moment.
I think in the first half, young Sticker and Cunningham really provided some really good run through that half-back line and in the midfield. But in the second half, when they sort of ran out of steam, it was young Rid, and young Rid was also very, very influential, along with young Wise as well. So they sort of complemented each other for the 4 quarters, didn't they?
Yeah, we've got a good mix, probably 6, 7, 8 guys that are those mid-sized defenders and forwards that are really fit and can run all day. So you can't hold all of them for too long. So once again, tremendous asset to have a lot of young guys, fast legs that can get up and down the field.
G'day, Chris. Blake Tennant here. Chris, talk about your defensive work. Really well, good, solid 4-quarter game performance by your point of view. It must be really good defensive, and you can pull out the troops if something bad happens.
Yeah, I think being a bit older now, you can impart your wisdom on the younger guys. And I've said, them all pre-season, like, our job is to defend first, put yourself in a good position there, and then the rest will happen. You don't have to go hunt the ball. That's when you can get in a bit of trouble. So our job's very simple: beat your man and then go from there. And I think we did that very well today.
Did you ever feel like you had that nervous reaction when Blackburn started to kick all those goals? What was your point of view on that?
Yeah, I wasn't too worried, to be honest. Like, we're very fit. We've run out all the pre-season games really well. We just, let a few goals through in the end, but they're a good team, so that you expect them to come. But I thought we ran the game out well, and sets us up for a good crack at Rowville in a couple of weeks.
Chris, I got one more for you. When you look at the, like you said, you've been doing a lot of work away from the club of the season. It seems to me that you at a certain stage would like to coach in some shape or form. Is that where we're heading?
Oh, absolutely. I had the opportunity to coach the Bull Ants this year, and I jumped at it. Obviously, I won't be able to play every game at Balwyn this year when the schedule clashes, but I love footy. It's one of my passions. So if I can coach at the high level or back at Balwyn one day, I'll certainly sink my teeth into it. So a few years away yet, though. Hopefully, I've got a few more years of playing left yet.
And look, you've been here through the years of Donati and Rocket Eden now, and now Brenton Sanderson comes to the club. What's it like playing under those coaches of that ilk?
Oh, it's incredibly rewarding, their knowledge of the game, but just the way they teach and communicate is obviously second to none. They've done it at the highest level, and they just make the game really simple. And I think that's what makes a great coach, is you can relay your plans and your instructions to the team and make it really simple. So obviously really, really good tactically and a wealth of knowledge, but the way they deliver that was quite amazing. So really, really lucky to have those coaches.
Chris, congratulations on the win. Big one for the side. Thanks for giving us your time after the game, and hopefully you enjoy the win, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
All right, thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thanks,
Chris Pendlebury there from the Balwyn Football Club. I thought he was magnificent today, especially in that first half, really setting the tone down back. Talk about we need a marker today, Ward. That one-handed grab down back was as good as it gets there, and he's been just a fantastic servant to the club.
From me there.
No
argument at all.
To be honest, rarely do people get body work on him, because he reads the flight of the ball better than any forward in the comp.
You look at it. You look at his brother. Look at how much time and poise that his brother has at level. He's very. It seems to be a trait in the family, because he never gets flustered, right? And he's so cool and calm under pressure, and he's yet and still able to kick the ball or handball the ball. That's going to make sure that the Balwyn players, Gav, are going to benefit.
I just want to point out something that helps him play a better game. I might get it wrong here today, but I reckon Goodleipson is the type that allows him to be a sweeper. Those sort of players that can help him out, Pollux, maybe you want to input a couple for us, guys, in terms of, I think they want Pendlebury to be the last man and to be the sweeper, to be the general. Did you see that he was taking advantage of some good other guys manning up and taking...
Yes, I did, and I think that the thing is, right, you're only as good as what foot soldiers you've got. And like you said, Gottliebson has played that role for many years. He probably didn't have as many possessions, Gottliebson, today, but he didn't really have to, because he at least created a contest when it was his turn. And sometimes you don't actually judge... You can actually not judge a player's performance, because sometimes the 1%ers, as you are well aware, are equally important, and sometimes, and that's where Gottliebson sort of offers value as well, some of those 1%ers, and that allows Pendlebury the time and space for him to use his craft.
And another one who probably didn't get a lot of the ball, so we'll mention him later in the year, I reckon, but Van Driel. He came in as a forward, so the fact that they've gone, well, we're just going to go walk a Lyle. When they're there, we're going to go walk a Lyle, and maybe we'll use Goebbels and Van Driel differently when they could go forward when one of them misses.
I think the thing is, you're right, and like Chris was alluding to, that they're starting to get a good mix of young players in there. One thing I did notice with Jeff today, I think he probably has suffered. The ball didn't actually run for him. I just sort of think he lacked a little bit of condition, only because he's missed a lot of football, and he probably is going to need a few games to get his touch and his poise back again. But once he gets that under his belt, you add him to the mix, and you've got such a potent forward line that most oppositions on a week-to-week basis, he'd probably get the third best back.
And certainly you're right, Brash, and before we've got a few minutes here before we have to head off for the afternoon, but let's give out our Eastland Player of the Game awards. I think there's quite a few options, as we've just mentioned. I think off-air we were pretty keen on Josh Walker's performance with 6 goals. Hard to go past him. I don't know if anyone has any other thoughts.
I thought, just an honourable mention. I think, I thought young Chevy Anderson was really solid in the ruck all day, competed really well. But, I don't think you can go past Josh Walker.
What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I think Josh Walker was definitely the best player today. I think Chris Pendlebury also gets a mention. He was very good down back. He was brilliant today. But I think Josh Walker for me.
I'm going to mention 3 players for Blackburn that are in the top 6 today.
Yep.
Hart, Lawler, and Zalek. Haley, if you don't mention Haley in a game, you've got to say why. In the last quarter, it was a different man on him, Hubba. But I reckon those 3 deserve credit for contributing when it wasn't going Blackburn's way. So when you look at Balwyn, bit of a team effort in my opinion, other than the goal scorers.
I thought Harry toiled well on the ruck too against Anderson.
Agreed.
I don't mind Wise and the contributions around the ground, but it seemed like the ascendancy was the tackling and the skills is what got Balwyn home.
So we're in agreement. It's Josh Walker.
Yeah,
Josh Walker will get the award for today, Ryan.
Yep.
What other awards are we going to give out?
And the other award that we do have to give out is the Tobin Brothers Goal of the Day. We did have quite a few. We loved the captain goal here from Lawler on the boundary line from the interchange, but the Sam Hart one in that final term was an absolute ripper.
I thought the Josh Walker behind the back, but I know we can't give 2 awards out. Or can we? I'm not sure.
No, we don't want to give him 2.
Yeah,
we spread the love around.
But
Tobin Brothers vouch up.
Honourable mention, probably Josh Walker around the back. That was just silky. But I think Hart deserves that goal just around the body, and it was in a crucial time for Blackburn.
They were coming at that stage.
Yeah, so that's my pick. I don't know about you boys.
I'm happy with Hart.
You happy with that?
I'm happy with that too, Blake.
And the other game as well that we didn't quite get to touch on in the end. We knew Waverley were in front, but it's a big win over Mulgrave, 117-43. Question marks to the lines. We're not sure how that game turned out. John O'Ven was down there, so we'll probably be able to find out from him during the week. But big statement from the Waverley Blues. The two sides that we thought were going to be quite similar at come the end of the year, but that's an absolute thumping.
I think that sort of I think that sort of backspiders, thoughts about where Mulgrave are at. And once again, I mean, early on, that game technically, when we were hearing the score in the first quarter, Josh, that game technically now was over.
Yeah, it was.
As a contest.
Yeah, so this one at least turned out to be somewhat of a competitive, close game in the second half. We've got a few minutes to wrap up here. Thanks to everyone who's joined us, whether that's live from Facebook, YouTube, or Radio Eastern 98.1 FM on this Good Friday. I hope everyone's going to have a fantastic Easter.
Yep.
Gav, do you do much over the Easter break? I know you're here today, but do you go away at all?
No, it's work.
Work.
Yep.
What about you, Brash?
I'm going out to lunch tomorrow, and then I'm having a WrestleMania night with me best.
There we go.
Me best
Rush.
8 hours of WrestleMania.
I'd love to see you in George the Animal Steel trunks.
Do we tell you when's the main event?
I already know the results. I just want to watch it now.
No, I actually tuned into that. It was actually a very good spectacle, and a lot of. If you want to talk about, I know we got a couple.
No, we don't want to do it.
But it was very good.
I'm sorry, Blake, but I've got no interest in this. We'll move on.
But me go on or?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Quickly.
What am I doing?
Tonight, are you into that belief of not eating meat today? Do you just eat the fish?
Just casual night tonight. Preparing for the mighty Tigers up against
tomorrow.
the Bulldogs as well. It's definitely Tiger time as we saw today, and it's also going to rain tomorrow for the Tigers, I reckon, and then potentially going to Easter Monday between the Hawks and the Cats. So it should be exciting.
Brash, do you eat meat on a Friday night?
No,
personally, I'm an athest, so I don't have much of a.
I'm a fish and chip shop's best friend.
You still go on a Good Friday?
Yeah, I'll go to the fish and chip shop and I'll break fish this evening. Don't forget the Children's Hospital appeal too.
Paul Uconi, your Easter plans?
My Easter plans are just casual tonight, probably just have a pizza and do whatnot. Watch the Swannies tomorrow. Hopefully they can get up. And Sunday I'm going to the soccer. So big weekend. And Easter Monday I'll probably just be watching the football or doing that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Beautiful work today, Paul. And Josh and Scott. I know Scott's not on the mic, but Josh, you were lucky. No rain today, and we
were very lucky.
Did quite well. I'm sure you're off to watch the Blues now.
Oh, I'm off to see family friends and watch the Blues as well, and scream at the TV whilst they try.
Kanga.
Oh, for God's sake! Well, I'll scream at the TV as well when they're starting to trail. But we did get lucky. We did get very lucky in the end, Scott and I. But it was a great day and a great win for Balwyn.
Absolutely right. It is Balwyn 26-point winners. We also got to thank Lee Green, Megan Green for a fantastic job. They've been taking on the workload this season, and they've done a fantastic job again today.
Best in the business.
Absolute best in the business there, Lee Green. So coming in live at the Eastland final score here at the match of the day, it's the Balwyn Football Club winning by 26 points, 81-55.